Chapter 2463 Commander Guard Lu Ming and the group walked through the crowd and discovered that there were two groups of people in a confrontation at the entrance of the Su family. One of the groups was led by a burly man in iron armor. His eyes were ferocious. Beside him was a group of armored experts from different races. All of them had powerful auras and were great Emperor realm experts. "Mou!" Su Rong shouted. The brawny man heard the voice and looked over. When he saw Su Rong, he laughed, "So it's the young lady of the Su family. You've come back just in time." This burly man was Mou. Opposite Mou and the others was another group of people. The leader was a man who looked to be in his 60s. However, his chi was extremely weak, dispirited, and his face was pale. It was obvious that he had been seriously injured. "Ronger, quickly come over." The man in his 60s shouted. "Father, how are you?" Su Rong quickly ran over and said worriedly. This man was Su Rong's father, Su Yuanshan. I'm fine. Su Yuanshan said, but after a few words, his face turned pale and he gasped for breath. "Mou, what are you doing in my Su family again?" Su Rong glared at Mou. "What are you doing? Your big brother still owes me a lot of divine stones. Of course I'm here to collect the debt." Mou sneered. When he looked at Su Rong, a fiery light flashed in the depths of his eyes. "How many immortal stones does my big brother owe you?" Mou said. 800,000 divine stones. Mou said. I only owe you 300,000 yuan. A young man beside Su Yuanshan shouted. This young man was Su Rong's elder brother, Su Feng. "You don't want interest? You've been in debt for a year. With interest, it's 800,000. Mou said with a cold smile. An increase of 500,000 yuan in a year? Why don't you just rob someone? Su Rong shouted angrily. This is the rule here. It's only right to pay back what you owe. Hurry up and return it. Mou scolded. 800,000 divine stones. Even if I sell the entire Su family, it won't be enough. Su Yuanshan said. Su Rong's older brother did not dare to speak. He lowered his head. Not enough? Sure. Miss Su Rong is a beautiful woman. You can give her to me. Your Su family and Miss Su Rong will be enough. As for the rest, I won't care about it. Mou said. He looked at Su Rong with a burning gaze. Su Rong's face turned pale. You don't even think about having any ideas about Ronger. Su Yuanshan roared. Don't even think? Since you can't, then don't blame me for being impolite. Mou said ferociously. A terrifying aura emanated from his body. Peak Emperor. Lu Ming squinted his eyes slightly. Mou's cultivation was at the peak Emperor realm. Mou's subordinates also burst out with a powerful aura and pressed down on the Su family. The people of the Su family couldn't resist at all, especially Su Yuanshan. Under the pressure of the other party's aura, his body staggered back. His face turned pale and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Father. Su Rong was extremely worried. Su Yuanshan was already seriously injured, and now that he was even more injured, he would be in danger if this continued. If you don't do as I say, the Su family will be destroyed today. Mou said coldly. Around them, no one spoke. Fengming country was founded on martial arts, and everything was spoken with martial arts. The strong stood in high positions, and the weak were like ants. It was extremely cruel. If the Su family had the strength to kill Mou, the commander would not say anything. Mou, you won't die a good death. Su Rong cursed. Humph, who can kill me? Mou said ferociously. Me. At this moment, a voice rang out and reverberated throughout the entire area. Many people were shocked. Who dared to be so bold as to say that he could kill Mou? Mou's eyes were filled with cold killing intent as he followed the voice and looked at the speaker. Finally, his gaze landed on Lu Ming. The person who spoke just now was Lu Ming. Kid, you say. You want to kill me? Mou enunciated each word. His murderous intent was as cold as a knife. He looked at Lu Ming as if he was looking at a dead man. It seems like you're not deaf. I heard that as long as I challenge you and defeat you, I can take your place and become the commander's guard? Lu Ming smiled faintly. Hee, you want to become the commander's guard? You're quite ambitious. Let me tell you, it's true. Let's see if you have the ability to do so. Mou said ferociously. Lu Ming, don't. Mou has the cultivation of the peak of the void interpretation stage. Moreover, his strength is the best among those at the peak of the void interpretation stage. Su Rong sent a voice transmission to Lu Ming. She was very worried. Profound void martial stage? Wasn't it the Great Emperor? Could it be that Netherworld Mountain's realm division is different from the Heaven Realm and Evil God Realm? Lu Ming's heart stirred. However, now was not the time to ask for details. Mou, I'm officially challenging you now. Do you dare to accept my challenge? Lu Ming shouted directly. Lu Ming had his own plan. The local forces in Netherworld Mountain were extremely powerful. There were even martial god realm experts who wanted to obtain opportunities in Netherworld Mountain and even kill the alien races. They had to borrow power. It borrowed the power of the living beings of Netherworld Mountain. This way, not only could he exterminate the alien races, but he could also obtain resources. It would be difficult to rely on himself. He believed that the other races would do the same. Now, it was up to who was faster. He would first become the commander of the guards and then continue to climb up. When he had a certain amount of power in Fengming, he could use the power of Fengming to find the Heaven Realm creatures and foreign race powerhouses. Gathering all the living beings in the Heaven Realm, killing the foreign races, and finding opportunities. Challenge Mou? Many people in the surroundings were stunned. Su Yuanshan and the others were also stunned. Lu Ming looked so young and he wanted to challenge Mou. He was too bold. Lu Ming, Su Rong was worried. Although Lu Ming was powerful and had defeated more than 30 experts with one move, Mou was an expert at the peak of the void interpretation stage. His subordinates could not compare to him. You want to challenge me? Mou's eyes flickered continuously, revealing a cold light. What's wrong? You don't dare to? Lu Ming said in disdain. Ha ha ha, brat, why wouldn't I dare? However, let me see your strength. If you don't have some strength, why would any random cat or dog come to challenge me? How would I have so much time? Mou sneered. Lord Protector, let me test his strength. Behind Mou, a burly man in iron armor walked out. This burly man had a pair of horns on his head that were as sharp as blades. Alright, you can try. You can kill him directly. Mou said coldly. Your subordinate understands. The bull-horned man said coldly. He then walked toward Lu Ming with a battle axe in his hand. Kid, make your move. Buzz. As soon as the bull-horned man finished speaking, Lu Ming moved. A spear ray shot towards the bull-horned man at an extremely fast speed. Before the bull-horned man could react, he was pinned to the ground by Lu Ming's spear radiance. Chapter 2464 One-shot kill. It was an instant kill. Many people were stunned. The bull-horned man's cultivation base was not weak. He was at the 5th stage of the insightful emptiness realm, but he was actually killed in an instant. When many people looked at Lu Ming, the coldness in their eyes was completely different from just now. Lu Ming's ability to kill the bull-horned man with one move was enough to show that he could not be underestimated. Mou's eyes also narrowed slightly, a trace of solemnness flashing through them. "Can I challenge you now?" Lu Ming's gaze turned to Mou. "You have some ability." A fierce light flashed in Mou's eyes. With a wave of his hand, a blood-red saber appeared in his hand, emitting a bloody smell. From this, it could be seen that many people had died in Mou's hands. "Little brother, you have to make him take out his guard token. That way, if you defeat him, you can obtain the position of Commander Guard." Su Yuanshan reminded him. "Humph, you think he can defeat me?" Mou snorted coldly, but he still followed the rules and took out the guard token, putting it on his belt. "Make your move," Mou said ferociously. "You should make the first move. It'll give you a chance to make a move," Lu Ming said. What he meant was that once he made his move, he would have no chance. Mou's expression turned ugly, revealing a cold killing intent. "Since you're looking for death, it'll fulfill your wish." Bang! Mou's figure was like a bolt of lightning, rushing toward Lu Ming and slashing the saber in his hand. It was fast, accurate, and powerful. Lu Ming stood still. In his palm, the power of domination condensed into a long spear, which he held in front of him. Clang! Mou's saber stood on Lu Ming's long spear. Lu Ming's body was as steady as Mount Tai and he did not move. The huge rebound force made Mou's body shake violently and he retreated continuously. His combat strength is indeed powerful. Lu Ming's heart stirred. In the Heaven Realm, Mou's fighting power was considered strong even among peak great emperors. There were strong and weak cultivators in the same realm. Mou was considered strong among peak great emperors. However, it was nothing in Lu Ming's eyes. At this moment Mou was extremely shocked. He had used all his strength in that move just now, intending to kill Lu Ming in one move. However, the final result was that Lu Ming did not move at all. Instead, he was forced to retreat. At this moment, he understood that Lu Ming's ability was above his. "No, I can't just give up my position as a guard for nothing," Mou roared in his heart. In Fengming country, there were a total of 13 commanders. Each of them led an army and held a high position. And each commander only had 18 guards. One could imagine how great the power of this position was. It was hard to come by, and he did not want to give it up. Buzz! He turned around and ran. He had actually fled without fighting. "Since you've already accepted the challenge, don't you think it's too late to run?" Lu Ming's cold voice was heard. His muscles trembled and his body rushed towards Mou like lightning. The long spear in his hand was thrust out at an extremely fast speed. Mou was shocked. He wanted to turn around to defend, but it was too late. Pfft! The long spear pierced through Mou's head and killed him. Mou's body fell heavily to the ground. His eyes were wide open, and he died with grievances. He had come this time with the intention of taking the Su family into his own pocket and taking the Su family's beautiful young lady under his belt. He had not expected to lose his life here. Lu Ming stretched out his hand and the guard token on Mou's belt flew into his hand. Mou's men all looked frightened and then turned to run, scattering in a hubbub. Mou is dead. At first, Su Rong, Su Yuanshan, and the others were stunned, but then they became ecstatic. Now that Mou was dead, the divine stones that big brother Su Rong owed Mou would naturally be gone. No one would find trouble with them anymore, so they were naturally happy. "Thank you, brother Lu Ming, for saving me." Su Yuanshan had already learned of Lu Ming's name from Su Rong and came over to express his gratitude. "You're too polite. I only made a move because I wanted to get the position of his guard." Lu Ming smiled, then picked up the token in his hand and asked, "Senior, how do I use this token?" "That's simple. As long as you take this token and meet the Lord Commander, as long as the Lord Commander agrees, you will naturally be able to inherit the position of the Commander's guard. Under normal circumstances, the Lord Commander will agree, because the stronger you are, the more beneficial it is to the Lord Commander." Su Yuanshan explained. Back then, when Mou had forced the Su family, Su Yuanshan had challenged Mou, hoping to defeat him and get his guard position. In this way, the Su family's crisis could be resolved. Unfortunately, he was not Mou's match and was instead seriously injured by Mou. "Father, it's all thanks to Lu Ming that we were able to capture the jade-blood fox," Su Rong said. "You caught the jade-blood fox?" Su Yuanshan was overjoyed. He then thanked Lu Ming solemnly. Lu Ming was really the benefactor of the Su family. First, he helped them catch the jade-blood fox and his injuries could be treated. Then, he killed Mou. Without Lu Ming, the Su family would really be finished. He was very grateful to Lu Ming. "Brother Lu Ming, come in and have a seat. Men, prepare a banquet." Su Yuanshan welcomed Lu Ming into the Su family and instructed the servants to prepare a banquet. The surrounding onlookers also dispersed. All of this was not surprising to them. In the country of Fengming, such challenges were common. Not only were there people challenging the guards of the commanders, there were even people challenging the commanders. The Su family treated Lu Ming warmly as a distinguished guest. After that, Lu Ming stayed at the Su family for a few days. He read through the huge amount of information that the Su family had collected and had a better understanding of Nether Mountain. There were many races in Netherworld Mountain. There were the bull-headed race, the scaled race, the serpent men race, and so on. There were dozens of races of all sizes. Moreover, the cultivation realm in Netherworld Mountain was very different from that in the Heaven realm. The first few stages were basically the same, but after reaching the Martial Emperor realm, it was very different. The Martial Emperor realm in Netherworld Mountain was divided into the Void Prying stage, True Void stage, Void Interpretation stage, and Void Transformation stage. Each stage was divided into 7 stages. They corresponded to the Void Emperor, the True Emperor, the Great Emperor, and the Heavenly Emperor. For example, Mou was at the peak of the Void realm, which was the same as a peak Great Emperor. As for the living beings of Netherworld Mountain, they didn't cultivate any nomological laws or great Taos. They didn't even come into contact with the heavenly Tao. What they cultivated was pure power. Above the transformation void martial stage was the God realm, also known as God. This point was exactly like what the ancestral dragon had said. The living beings here called Netherworld Mountain the Netherworld world. Within the Yellow Springs world, there were hundreds of factions and countries, each occupying a region and ruling a region. As for the country of Fengming, it was only a small country on the edge of the Yellow Springs world. In addition, Lu Ming also saw the records about the Cursed Land. There were some places in the Yellow Springs world that the living beings here could not enter at all. If they entered, they would die. The living beings of the Yellow Springs world called them the Cursed Lands. Chapter 2465, The First Guard, the Cursed Land. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. The Cursed Land was the place they were looking for. The people of Netherworld Mountain couldn't enter, because they had been cursed for generations. However, outsiders could enter. There might be opportunities in there. Moreover, Lu Ming was overjoyed to find out that there was such a cursed land in Fengming country. It was in the capital of Fengming country. It seems that I made the right choice by choosing to be the commander's guard. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Lu Ming stayed at the Su family for 2 days. Under Su Rong's reluctant gaze, he bade them farewell. After that, Lu Ming walked towards the Great Ming city's governor's manor. The commander who was guarding this place was called Yi Yang. It could be said that he was the most powerful person in the Great Ming City. He ruled dozens of nearby cities and had millions of troops. The governor's manor was located at the center of the Great Ming City. Not long after, a vast mansion appeared before Lu Ming's eyes. At the gate of the mansion, there was a group of big men in iron armor standing guard. "Who's there?" "Stop." Lu Ming was stopped the moment he arrived. "I want to see Commander Yi Yang." The guard token appeared in Lu Ming's hands. "The commander's guard command token." The guard's expression changed, then he smiled and said, "So you have a guard token?" "Sir, please wait a moment." "Well, report this to the commander." Since Lu Ming had a guard token, it meant that he had defeated a guard and was very likely to inherit that guard's position. In that case, his status would be far above theirs. Naturally, they did not dare to offend Lu Ming. "All right." Lu Ming nodded. He kept the guard token and waited quietly. After a long while, the guard came out and reported, "The commander wants to see you. Please follow me." Then, he turned around and walked inside. Lu Ming followed him into the commander's residence. They passed through several corridors and courtyards before they arrived at a large hall. At the entrance of the hall, the burly man who was guarding the door did not dare to enter. He gestured for Lu Ming to enter while he himself retreated. Lu Ming stepped into the hall and realized that it was already full of people. At the head of the table sat a middle-aged man with a sinister face. His eyes were long and narrow, and when he opened and closed them, he gave off a cold and gloomy feeling. However, what attracted Lu Ming's attention the most was the lower half of the person's body. The lower half of this person's body was a snake's tail. It was a serpent man, and the aura on his body was extremely shocking. Heavenly Emperor. Lu Ming could immediately sense that this person's cultivation was at the Celestial Emperor, which was the void transformation stage of the Netherworld. On both sides of the hall, there were more than 10 people sitting. There were men and women, old and middle-aged. All of them had powerful auras and were peak emperors. This must be the commander and his guards. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He then stepped forward and cupped his fists. "TM Lu Ming. Greetings, Commander. You killed him, you?" Yi Yang asked from the seat of honor. "Not bad." Lu Ming nodded. "Take out your guard token and let me take a look," Yi Yang said. Lu Ming nodded. He waved his hand and the guard token appeared in his hand. "Lord Commander, may I ask if I can inherit the position of protector?" Lu Ming asked. He, what a joke. You want to inherit the position of protector? The one who spoke was not Commander Yi Yang, but a middle-aged man sitting on the left. He had a pair of bull horns and eyes as big as copper bells. "According to the rules, I can inherit Mou's position after killing him. Why can't I inherit the position of a guard?" Lu Ming asked. "Ridiculous. I received news that you attacked Mou from behind. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been his match. Such a despicable person wants to inherit the position of guard. It's ridiculous. Now you dare to come here. Well, today I'll avenge Mou," the bull-headed man said coldly. He stepped forward and his powerful aura pressed toward Lu Ming. This bull-headed man was named Blue. He had a very good relationship with Mou. He was also the strongest among the 18 guards under Yi Yang. He had received news that Mou had been killed by Lu Ming's sneak attack from behind. He was furious and was about to avenge Mou. He did not expect Lu Ming to come to his door. Yi Yang sat at the head of the table with a sneer on the corner of his mouth, but he didn't stop them. He had also received the news that Mou had been stabbed to death by Lu Ming from behind. He also wanted to see if Lu Ming had the ability. If he did not, Blue would have killed him for nothing. "I'm afraid you're a bit lacking." Lu Ming cast a casual glance at Blue. Lu Ming didn't care about a peak great emperor, no matter how strong he was. You're a despicable man who only knows how to sneak attack me from behind. How dare you be so arrogant? Die. Whirlwind kill. A wide battle-axe appeared in Blue's hands. He raised the battle-axe and charged at Lu Ming. In the process of charging towards Lu Ming, Blue's entire body began to spin rapidly, bringing along his battle-axe. Like a whirlwind, he swept towards Lu Ming with astonishing power. Whirlwind kill, it's whirlwind kill. Big Brother Blue has used a killing move from the start. That kid is finished. Big Brother Blue has used his killing move. Not many people at the Profound Void Martial stage can fight against him. That kid is dead for sure. He will be ground into mincemeat. The other guards sneered coldly, as if they were watching a show. They seemed to have already seen the scene of Lu Ming being strangled to death. Boom! At this moment, Lu Ming made his move. He took a step forward and threw a punch. The entire hall rumbled. Thump! Lu Ming's fist collided with Blue's battle-axe, creating a loud boom. Blue's battle-axe was then sent flying far away. Then, a shrill cry was heard. Blue's burly body was crushed by Lu Ming's fist force and flew far away. He fell heavily on the ground and spat out a large mouthful of blood. With just one move, Blue had been severely injured. In the hall, gasps could be heard. The guards widened their eyes in disbelief. Blue was the strongest among them. However, he was defeated by Lu Ming in one move after he had used his killing move. Lu Ming's combat strength was shocking. They understood that Lu Ming did not need a sneak attack to kill Mou. He could easily kill Mou in a head-on battle. Just this little bit of battle power? I thought he would be very strong, how disappointing. Lu Ming shook his head and cast a disdainful glance at Blue. Just now, he had shown mercy for Yi Yang's sake. Otherwise, with one punch, Blue would have been reduced to nothing. Blue was so angry that he spat out 2 more mouthfuls of blood. He was so embarrassed he wanted to die. Ha ha ha, good, good. You're Lu Ming, right? From now on, you'll be my guard, my first guard. On the seat of honor, Yi Yang laughed out loud, his eyes revealing his excitement. Chapter 2465 Commander's Assembly 3 Many thanks, Commander. Lu Ming cupped his fists. Alright, you'll live in Mou's mansion in the future. If there's anything you need, feel free to tell me. Yi Yang said with a smile. Alright. Lu Ming nodded. Congratulations, Guard Lu, congratulations, Brother Lu. At the side, the other guards were all smiling as they congratulated Lu Ming. It was the complete opposite of the situation just now. Now, Lu Ming had proven his ability and was highly regarded by Yi Yang. He was called the first guard by Yi Yang. Of course, they had to build a good relationship with Lu Ming. As for Blue, let him go to the side. This world was always so realistic. Blue stood at the side, his expression extremely ugly. After that, someone led Lu Ming to a place. After 2 rounds, they arrived in front of a mansion. This mansion used to be Mou's mansion and now it belonged to Lu Ming. As soon as Lu Ming entered the mansion, he was greeted by a group of people who bowed to him. This subordinate greets Lord Guard. There were more than 100 people who kowtowed to Lu Ming. You're free. Lu Ming nodded. These people used to be Mou's subordinates, and now they had become his subordinates. Sir Guard, what are your orders? Some people looked at Lu Ming with smiles and fawning looks. You guys go do what you need to do. Lu Ming waved his hand and dismissed the crowd. He found a room to stay in. He sat cross-legged in his room and started to cultivate. The mysterious energy between heaven and earth continued to gather toward Lu Ming. After a long while, Lu Ming opened his eyes. The effect of the path understanding ancient tree is getting smaller and smaller in my cultivation. Lu Ming muttered. He realized that ever since he had comprehended the ruler Tao, the Tao comprehension ancient tree had been of little use to him. Lu Ming seemed to be able to merge with the world and even dominate the world. He could directly comprehend the way of the dominator from the world. The effect of the path understanding ancient tree had become minimal and was not of much help to Lu Ming. The Tao comprehension ancient tree was very useful for the comprehension of laws, great Taos, and heavenly Taos, but it was not very useful for the Tao of rulers. After some thought, a storage ring appeared in Lu Ming's hand. This storage ring was MOU's. Lu Ming had killed MOU and naturally obtained his storage ring. He extended his spiritual senses into it. The next moment, a few combat weapons appeared in Lu Ming's hands. What a strange weapon! Lu Ming took the combat weapon and sized it up carefully. The weapons in the Yellow Springs world were also very different from those outside. It's really amazing. Lu Ming injected the world energy into the combat weapon and sensed it carefully. He was shocked. He found that the combat weapons here were engraved with many arrays. These arrays interacted with each other and formed many wonderful functions. Once energy was injected into them, these arrays would be activated, causing the combat weapons to burst out with amazing power. Moreover, Lu Ming realized that even if he injected the world energy, he could still activate the array inside. Lu Ming tried a few times and realized that these few combat weapons were equivalent to the arch weapons. None of them were equivalent to celestial the arch weapons. Thinking about it, MOU was only a great emperor. How could he have a weapon equivalent to a celestial emperor weapon? If I can get some combat weapons that are equivalent to celestial emperor weapons in the netherworld world and bring them out, the experts in the heaven realm can also use them. That will greatly enhance the strength of the heaven realm. At the thought of this, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Then, he kept the combat weapons and a glittering and translucent stone appeared in Lu Ming's hand. This stone was about the same size as a raw stone. Is this the netherworld world's divine stone? Lu Ming muttered. Then, he activated his cultivation technique and absorbed the energy of the divine stone. The energy in the divine stone was exactly the same as the energy drifting between heaven and earth in Netherworld Mountain, but it was many times richer. The energy of a divine stone was absorbed by Lu Ming and was quickly refined by him, turning into his world energy. One divine stone actually contains so much energy. It's equivalent to 10,000 supreme-grade raw stones. Lu Ming was shocked. The energy of this divine stone was too much. One piece was equivalent to 10,000 supreme-grade raw stones. Lu Ming checked and found that there were 500,000 divine stones in MOU's storage ring. That was 50 billion supreme-grade raw stones. 50 billion supreme-grade raw stones was already shocking enough. Lu Ming had obtained a large number of supreme-grade raw gemstones on the Void Island. There were about 600 to 700 billion of them. Now, there was only about 100 billion left. The divine stones on MOU were equivalent to half of the raw stones on Lu Ming's body. If I can get enough godstones here, I won't have to worry about my cultivation. Lu Ming was overjoyed. His cultivation had consumed too many resources. Now, he only had over 10,000 stones of chaos and 100 billion supreme-grade raw stones left. These resources were simply not enough. However, once he had enough divine stones, he could do it. A cultivation breakthrough did not necessarily require chaos stones or primordial chaos stones. A single supreme-grade raw gemstone could do the same. However, the amount required was astonishing. Therefore, in the past, Lu Ming had always cultivated with the raw gemstones and the chaos stones or the primordial chaos stones. This would greatly reduce the consumption of raw gemstones. However, with more than 10,000 chaos stones, Lu Ming would probably use up all of them if he were to break through again. However, as long as he had enough divine stones, he could break through. Lu Ming began to think about how he could collect more divine stones. In that case, he would have enough resources for cultivation even after he left Netherworld Mountain. After tidying up his things, Lu Ming continued to cultivate and comprehend the way of the master. Time flew by and 2 months passed. The past 2 months had been very peaceful. Nothing happened. Lu Ming cultivated in peace. One day, Yi Yang sent someone to look for Lu Ming, saying that he had something to discuss with him. It was still the same hall where Lu Ming met Yi Yang. There were 2 other people besides Yi Yang. One of them was Blue, who was defeated by Lu Ming. The other was a woman who looked to be in her 30s. She was very beautiful, graceful, and had a mature charm. She was full of strong temptation. This was something that was not difficult to notice from Blue's eyes that were filled with the flames of desire when he glanced at her from time to time. Lu Ming recognized the woman. She was one of Yi Yang's guards. Her name was Liao Min. "I've come to find you today for the commander's assembly." Yi Yang went straight to the point and said his purpose. Blue and Liao Min's expressions were calm. It was obvious that they had known about this long ago. However, Lu Ming was stunned and had some doubts. "Lu Ming, you don't know yet, right? Let me tell you." Yi Yang looked at Lu Ming and said, "There are a total of 13 commanders in Fengming country. Each of them is in charge of a region. However, the territory they are in charge of varies in size. The troops they command also vary in strength and strength. The ranking of the commanders is the deciding factor. The country of Fengming holds a meeting of the commanders every 100 years to determine the ranking of the commanders. In another half a month, it will be the new meeting of the commanders." Chapter 2467 Commanders gathered. Lu Ming came to a sudden realization. It seemed that Yi Yang had called them over for the commanders' assembly. Lu Ming did not say anything and waited for Yi Yang to continue. The rules of the commanders' assembly are very simple. Every commander can bring 3 guards with them to participate. At that time, they will challenge each other, and the king will re-rank them according to their battle results. The 3 of you are the strongest among my guards. Therefore, you will be coming with me to the capital to participate in the commanders' meeting," Yi Yang announced. "Yes." Lu Ming, Blue, and Liao Min nodded. "The capital?" Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He also wanted to go to the capital because there was a cursed land in the capital of Fengming. This was exactly what he wanted. "Alright, get ready. We'll leave tomorrow," Yi Yang said. The crowd dispersed, and the day passed quickly. The next day, Yi Yang brought Lu Ming and the other 2 people, as well as other guards, to the capital of Fengming country on a huge bird. After flying for 3 days, they arrived at the capital of the country of Fengming. It was a huge and vast ancient city. The capital of Fengming country was bustling with activity. Lu Ming saw even more races. Its commander Yi Yang. The moment they entered the capital, they were immediately recognized. The commanders' meeting that happens once every 100 years is coming. The capital is going to be lively again. I wonder if there will be any changes to the ranking of the various commanders this time. It's hard to say. In my opinion, the most suspenseful thing is still the battle between the first and second place. 100 years ago, the 2 commanders fought for 1,000 moves before the winner was decided. Not bad, I'm looking forward to it. While the crowd was discussing, Lu Ming and the rest passed through a few streets and arrived at a huge mansion. This mansion was the mansion that Yi Yang ruled in the capital. It was also huge and there were many experts stationed in the mansion. As soon as Yi Yang and the others arrived, someone came to welcome them and arranged their accommodation. The next thing to do was to wait for the General Assembly to begin. Time flew by quickly, and more than 10 days passed in the blink of an eye. The General Assembly had arrived. Yi Yang brought Lu Ming, Bin Biu, and Liao Min to the palace. When they arrived at the imperial palace, there were naturally people to receive them. They were welcomed to a wide area. This area was surrounded by rows of seats as a viewing platform. In the center, there was a huge fighting stage. It was obvious that the duel would be held on that fighting ring. Yi Yang, you're early. A loud laugh was heard. Everyone looked in the direction of the sound and saw 4 people flying over from another direction. The one in the lead was an old man with a horn on his forehead. He looked at Yi Yang with a cold smile. You're not too late either. Yi Yang said coldly. Yi Yang, this time, I will definitely take your place. The old man sneered. You? You're still far from it. Yi Yang sneered and confronted each other. Cold auras emanated from both of them as they collided in the air. Of course, they understood that now was not the time to fight. They all snorted coldly and found their seats on the stands. That old man is called the commander of Border City. He's ranked 10th among the 13 commanders, while our commander is ranked 9th. That guy has always wanted to replace our commander's position. Liao Min explained to Lu Ming via voice transmission. Along the way, Liao Min was closer to Lu Ming. She frequently expressed her goodwill to Lu Ming and looked at him with flirtatious eyes. This caused Blue, who was standing at the side, to feel extremely jealous. Oh, no wonder. Lu Ming nodded and smiled at Liao Min. At this moment, people kept flying over. All of them were commanders, with each of them leading 3 guards. Liao Min also introduced them to Lu Ming. It's Luo Mo Tong and Commander Yu Zhan. The 2 of them are here together. Suddenly, Liao Min spoke in a serious tone. Lu Ming also looked over. The 2 sides had 4 people each. The most eye-catching ones were naturally the 2 people walking in front. One of them was a middle-aged man in a white robe. He was a human. The other one had a pair of black wings on his back, and his eyes were cold. Through Liao Min's introduction, Lu Ming learned that the middle-aged man in the white robe was Commander Yu Zhan, who ranked first among the 13 commanders. The one with the black wings was the second-ranked Commander Rama. These 2 were extremely powerful and had been fighting each other for countless years. The strength of the 2 of them was about the same, but overall, Yu Zhan's commander was slightly better, so he was always ranked first. There were rumors that this time, Commander Luoma wanted to pull down Commander Yu Zhan's throne and replace him. Their gazes met, creating intense sparks as they sat down in their seats. These 2 people have deep cultivation. Lu Ming sized up the other party and realized that their cultivation was very profound. They were probably far above Yi Yang. Then, Lu Ming sized up the guards that the other party had brought. Heavenly Emperor. Lu Ming realized that among the guards that the 2 of them had brought, there were also Heavenly Emperor-level existences. Yi Yang, the commander of the border city, and the others could not compare to them at all. What? Lu Ming saw that among the people brought by Commander Rama, there was a very mysterious person. He was covered in a black robe and his appearance could not be seen clearly. I don't see any Heaven Realm experts or foreign races. Lu Ming pondered. The country ruler has arrived. At this moment, a voice was heard. Then, a group of people flew over from the distance. There were more than 100 people, and the leader was a human in his 50s. He wore a crown and had a majestic aura. Obviously, this person was the king of Fengming country. The group of people landed on the seats at the head of the table and sat down in succession. Greetings, King. Everyone stood up and saluted the king of Fengming. Everyone, please rise and take a seat. The king of Fengming country waved his hand. Everyone took their seats. The commanders' meeting that happens once every 100 years is about to begin again. The rules are the same as before. Everyone will bring 3 guards and the last commander will start the challenge. Just do whatever you want. This king knows what the final battle result is. The country ruler announced. Yes. Everyone responded. Then, the last ranked commander sent out a guard and jumped onto the fighting ring. His opponent was a guard of the 12th ranked commander. Boom! There was nothing to say, and the two of them began to fight fiercely. Both of them were peak great emperors, and their battle power was similar. The battle was very intense, and they exchanged a few hundred moves. In the end, both of them were injured, and it ended in a draw. How is it? Do you have the confidence? Commander Yi Yang secretly sent a message to Lu Ming and the rest. This kind of trash can't even withstand a single blow. I can defeat him in 10 moves. Blue said, full of confidence. However, after taking a look at Lu Ming, his face turned gloomy again. He had been defeated by Lu Ming in 1 move. Lu Ming smiled and did not say much. Chapter 2468, The Evil God Tribe appears. The challenge continued. Next, it was still the last ranked commander's turn to send someone out. It was still a battle between guards. But this time, after a few hundred moves, the guard of the 12th ranked commander had won by a slight margin. Then, the 2 guards fought for the 3rd time. This time, the 2 guards also ended in a draw. Let's have a battle. In the end, the last ranked commander leaped onto the fighting ring and looked at the guard who was ranked 12th, fight. The 12th ranked commander simply jumped onto the fighting ring. Boom! The two of them began to fight intensely. The scene was shocking. Both of their cultivation bases were equivalent to the Heavenly Emperor realm, but they were only equivalent to 1-star Heavenly Emperors. This battle also lasted for a few hundred moves. In the end, it was the commander ranked 12th who was slightly better and defeated the other party. The last ranked commander had an ugly expression. He couldn't even defeat the 12th ranked commander. This time, he was destined to be ranked last again. Alright, let's continue the battle after everyone has recovered. Men, prepare the banquet. King Feng Ming announced. Immediately, young girls began to serve fine wine and delicacies. Everyone began to eat and drink, and even Monarch Feng Ming called over a group of beautiful women to dance on the battle stage to liven things up. Everyone ate and drank as they waited. They were all powerhouses equivalent to the martial emperor realm. They had plenty of time and were not in a hurry. Only when the people who had been fighting just now had recovered to their peak condition did the challenge begin. The 12th commander began his challenge. However, he obviously didn't dare to challenge those who were ranked too high. He chose to challenge those who were ranked 11th. This battle was also very intense, but in the end, it was still the 11th ranked commander who won. 100 years was a very short period of time for these great emperors and heavenly emperors. Therefore, everyone's combat strength wouldn't improve much in 100 years. It was difficult to change the ranking, which was almost the same as 100 years ago. Only a few people were full of suspense. For example, Commander Yuzhan and Commander Rama. After the battle, the crowd continued to wait. When they recovered, the challenges would continue. Just like that, 2 days later, it was finally the governor of the border city's turn to challenge. He directly challenged Commander Yi Yang. Many people were interested. This was because this match was also quite suspenseful. 100 years ago, the border city's commander and Yi Yang's forces were about the same in strength. In the final king's ranking, Yi Yang was ranked ahead of the border city. All these years, the border city's commander had been dissatisfied and wanted to surpass Yi Yang in this commander's meeting. Buzz! On the side of the border city's commander, a tall guard leaped onto the fighting ring. His gaze swept across Lu Ming, Bin Bu, and Liao Min before finally stopping on Lu Ming and the other two. He knew Bamboo and Liao Min. They were both very strong, so he had no confidence. However, he had never seen Lu Ming before. Moreover, he looked very young. Hence, he chose Lu Ming at the first moment. "Kid, come down and fight." The burly man pointed at Lu Ming. "You actually picked me? It seems like they think I'm easy to bully." Lu Ming smiled. Blue and Liao Mint's lips trembled. Lu Ming was easy to bully? They had already mourned for the burly man. Yi Yang also had a smile on his face. The more eye-catching the performance of his guards was, the higher the score the monarch would give them, and the higher their ranking would be. Lu Ming took a step forward and appeared on the fighting ring. "Kid, what's your name?" "I don't kill nameless people," the large man said coldly. This kind of battle didn't have any life or death restrictions. If you had the strength, you could directly kill your opponent. Lu Ming said indifferently. However, when Lu Ming announced his name, the black-robed figure who had been sitting behind Commander Rama trembled and gave off a cold killing intent. Commander Rama turned his head and looked at the black-robed man curiously. As for Lu Ming, he sensed the other party's killing intent at the first moment and looked at the black-robed man. The other party had revealed killing intent after he had told them his name. It was clear that they were targeting him. Even now, the other party was still filled with killing intent and didn't hide it at all. The moment he heard my name, he revealed killing intent towards me. Could he be from the evil god race? Lu Ming's gaze flickered. This was highly possible. The evil god race had a unique appearance, and they were not found in Netherworld Mountain. As long as they revealed their true form, the people from the Heaven Realm would be able to recognize them. On the other hand, the Heaven Realm had a certain advantage because there were many humans in Netherworld Mountain. They were mixed in with the crowd, so it would be difficult for the other party to find them. In the stands, Commander Yi Yang looked in Commander Rama's direction and frowned. His expression was a little gloomy. "Brat, where are you looking at? You're looking for death, die." The burly man roared and charged at Lu Ming. The saber in his hand was as fast as lightning as he slashed at Lu Ming. "Get lost!" Lu Ming shouted coldly. He did not even look and kicked him. Bang! The other party's saber beam collapsed and he was kicked in the stomach by Lu Ming. He screamed in pain and flew out of the fighting ring, falling to the ground. So strong? Many people were stunned. He defeated a peak great emperor in one move. What kind of fighting power was that? Could it be that Lu Ming was a celestial the arch? The border city commander's expression was extremely ugly. If Yi Yang had a celestial emperor as his subordinate, he would lose for sure. After sending the burly man flying, Lu Ming's gaze turned to the black-robed man. "Since you're here, why hide your head and show your tail? Reveal your true face." He. The other party sneered and then took off his black robe, revealing his true appearance. This person was middle-aged and had long purple hair. He was a member of the royal family of the foreign races. As his three eyes opened and closed, a cold light flashed. "So you're Lu Ming?" I'm quite lucky. You're the first person I killed." The non-human king laughed coldly. Although he did not make it so obvious, Lu Ming was very clear about his meaning. What the other party meant was that the first heaven realm being that he would kill in Netherworld Mountain would be Lu Ming. "Oh, really? That's what I wanted to say." Lu Ming responded coldly. He took a step forward and returned to the stands. "You have a grudge against him?" Yi Yang asked. His face was extremely gloomy and his long and narrow eyes flashed with a cold light. "Not bad." Lu Ming nodded. Yi Yang, it seems that your guard has a grudge against my guard. It seems that we are going to have a battle." Commander Luama laughed out loud. His voice was filled with coldness. Yi Yang's expression was extremely ugly. The other commanders watched with a faint smile, especially the commander of the border city, who was gloating. Fengming country's king looked on with a faint smile and did not speak. These commanders had conflicts with each other, which was to his liking. This way, he could better manage them. Chapter 2468 Falling Out Translator, Commander Rama must be joking. How would I dare to fight with you? Commander Yi Yang forced a smile on his ugly face. Then, he looked at Lu Ming with a cold glint in his long and narrow eyes. Lu Ming, hurry up and apologize to Commander Rama and his guards. You want me to apologize? Even Lu Ming was stunned. He did not expect Yi Yang to do this. Yi Yang didn't even know what grudges he had with the alien race. He didn't even ask and wanted him to apologize. That's right. Hurry up. I don't care what grudges you have. Go and apologize, and you must make Commander Rama and his guards forgive you. No matter what method you use, no matter what price you have to pay. Do you understand? Yi Yang said coldly. His voice was full of threat and he did not hide it at all. His meaning was clear. No matter what method Lu Ming used, even if he had to kneel down, even if he had to pay a heavy price, he had to make the other party forgive him so that Commander Rama would not challenge him. The meeting of commanders didn't have a rule that those who were ranked higher couldn't challenge those who were ranked lower. Now, it was just the beginning. Only the lower-ranked ones could start the challenge. Those who were ranked higher could also challenge those who were ranked lower. However, that would leave a bad impression in the king's heart. Yi Yang was scared to death. Luomo was ruthless and had strong combat strength. If he challenged him, he would be dead. He was cursing in his heart. Of all people, Lu Ming had to offend the guard of Commander Rama. He was simply courting death. It was fine if he was courting death, but he had to implicate him. He. Lu Ming sneered. What are you laughing at? Yi Yang said coldly. The gloominess in his snake-like eyes became even stronger. I'm laughing. Who do you think you are? What right do you have to order me around? Lu Ming answered indifferently. What? Yi Yang's eyes widened and he was stunned. What did Lu Ming say? Lu Ming actually said that he was something? How dare he? A flame of anger filled Yi Yang's chest. Lu Ming was just his guard. In the end, he was just his dog. Now, he actually dared to say that in front of the other commanders and the monarch. This made him extremely embarrassed. His heart was filled with cold killing intent, and he could not wait to cut Lu Ming into 8 pieces. If it was any other guard, they would definitely not dare to disobey him. They had to do whatever he said. Ha, this brat is seeking his own death. At the side, Blue laughed wildly in his heart. He did not expect Lu Ming to be so stupid. He was simply courting death. No need to talk nonsense. Even if he kneels in front of me today, he must die. At this moment, the non-human king spoke coldly. Yi Yang's expression turned even uglier. He looked around and his eyes lit up. Everyone, this guard of mine is arrogant and disregards his superiors. What's the point of keeping such a person? I will now expel him from the ranks of my guards. If you have any grudges with him, you can go and find him. It has nothing to do with me. Lu Ming, hand over your guard token. Yi Yang looked at Lu Ming coldly. They actually expelled him from the ranks of the guards. This Yi Yang is decisive. However, this way, he can avoid a battle with Commander Luomo. It's a wise choice. That's right. If it were me, that would be the only thing I could do. I would be courting death if I fought with Commander Rama. The surrounding commanders were all discussing. The country ruler, who was sitting at the top, had a calm expression. He was drinking his wine and no one knew what he was thinking. Erase your guard token. Lu Ming took out the guard token and threw it to Yi Yang. Commander Rama, Lu Ming is no longer my guard. If you have any problems, you can look for him. Commander Yi Yang looked at Commander Rama with a flattering expression. Hee, this commander is really trash. The non-human king laughed in disdain. Yi Yang's expression was ugly, but he did not dare to refute. The other party was Rama's guard. Offending him was equivalent to offending Rama. It's all because of Lu Ming. Otherwise, I wouldn't be like this. Yi Yang looked at Lu Ming coldly, his killing intent flashing. This time, he had kicked Lu Ming out of the ranks of guards in public. Not only did he have one less person on his side, but he was also afraid that the king's impression of him was not good. This time, it was definitely impossible for him to increase his ranking. He was afraid that his ranking would even fall and he would be suppressed by the commander of the border city. He blamed everything on Lu Ming. You still want to kill me? Lu Ming naturally felt Yi Yang's murderous intent. There was also a murderous intent in Lu Ming's eyes. Your Majesty, I'm going to challenge Lu Ming to settle my personal grudges. Please allow me to do so. The non-human king cupped his fists towards the king. Sure. The country ruler said indifferently. They were just a few commander guards, so he didn't take them to heart. Buzz. The non-human king leaped onto the fighting ring and looked at Lu Ming. Lu Ming, come up and fight. The corners of Lu Ming's lips curled into a cold smile. He moved and leaped onto the fighting ring. Even if the other party didn't challenge him, he would still find an opportunity to challenge the other party. Alien races were killed without mercy. Every time they killed one, the strength of the non-humans would be reduced. Boom! A powerful aura erupted from the non-human king. This is second-level void transformation stage. What a powerful aura. What a terrifying strength. It's only a guard of Commander Rama, but he actually has the strength of a second-level void transformation stage martial artist. The other commanders all cried out in alarm. A second-level void transformation stage martial artist was equivalent to a 2-star heavenly emperor. One had to know that some of the other commanders were only at the first level of the void transformation stage and some were at the second level of the void transformation stage. On the other hand, even a guard of Commander Rama was at the second-level void transformation stage. The difference between them was too great. Luo Mo's lips curled into a cold smile. This was his trump card. This time, he was going to defeat Commander Yuzhan and obtain the first place. Kill. Destruction sword formation. The non-human king shouted coldly. Beams of destructive light shot out from his third eye and turned into combat swords. They formed a sword formation and charged at Lu Ming. Good. Lu Ming's expression was calm. He swung his fist and threw dozens of punches in a row. This time, Lu Ming did not use the way of domination. Instead, he simply used his physical strength. Boom. Boom. After dozens of continuous explosions, Lu Ming shook off the sword formation, but he also retreated continuously. He actually blocked it. The other commanders were shocked. Lu Ming had actually blocked the opponent's attack. This was enough to prove that Lu Ming was also at the Heavenly Emperor realm. That Yi Yang has a guard at the Transformation Void Martial stage. The commander of the border city had a dark look in his eyes. Detestable. Yi Yang roared. The stronger Lu Ming's performance was, the more uncomfortable he felt. He could not help but think how good it would have been if Lu Ming had not offended Rama's guards. Then, he would have been able to climb up the ranking. That country ruler Feng Ming was also interested. He had never seen Lu Ming and the foreign tribe's royal family before. He could not help but feel curious about the fact that Feng Ming country suddenly had 2 void transformation stage existences. Chapter 2470 Challenging Yi Yang, Kill. The leader of the non-human race roared. His third eye shone even brighter. Rays of light burst out and condensed into more and more combat swords, which flew toward Lu Ming. At the same time, a purple sword appeared in his hand. He became one with the sword and turned into a purple stream of light, charging toward Lu Ming. He exploded with all his strength and wanted to kill Lu Ming as soon as possible. It seems that I'm not a match for a 2-star celestial emperor with just the strength of my physical body. Lu Ming had an idea. Then, he clenched his fist in the air. The purple gold ruler's power gathered and turned into a long spear. Buzz! Lu Ming swept his long spear in all directions, and the sword gleam that was slashing at him was shattered. Clang! Lu Ming's long spear collided with the sword radiance of the non-human king and a shocking boom was heard. The non-human king's body trembled violently, and his eyes were filled with horror as he was sent flying by Lu Ming's slap. Whoosh! Lu Ming charged forward with his spear like a bolt of lightning, his speed extremely fast. Pfft! The non-human royal could not avoid it at all. Lu Ming's spear pierced through his head between his eyebrows. A 2-star heavenly emperor from the royal non-human race had died. Boom! Yi Yang suddenly stood up from his seat, his face full of shock. Lu Ming's combat strength was so powerful that he could kill a second-level void transformation stage expert. One had to know that he himself was only at the second-level void transformation. The others were also shocked. Hee, someone actually expelled such an expert from the ranks of the guards. It seems like someone is very confident. The commander of the border city sneered. Commander Yi Yang's expression turned ugly. At that moment, he felt a tinge of regret. If he had known that Lu Ming was so powerful, he would have considered it. With a helper like Lu Ming, he would definitely be able to rank higher in the commander ranking. Even if he offended Commander Rama, it was not unacceptable. However, it was too late to regret now. Damn it! Commander Rama's anger and killing intent soared. Lu Ming had actually killed a non-human king, causing him to lose an important general. This time, it would have a huge impact on his attempt to get first place. Ha, Rama, it seems like your subordinate has challenged someone he shouldn't have. Commander Yuzhan laughed out loud. Among these people, he was the happiest. Of the 13 commanders, only Commander Rama was a threat to him. Now that Commander Rama had lost a powerful helper, he was naturally happy. Humph, don't think that just because I'm short of a guard, I'm not your match. Commander Rama said coldly as his eyes flickered with a fierce light. After killing the non-human king, Lu Ming reached out and took his storage bracelet. He did not leave the fighting ring. He glanced at Commander Yi Yang coldly, then turned to the king and cupped his fists. Your Majesty, Lu Ming would like to ask if it is possible for me to challenge a commander now? Lu Ming's words shocked some of the commanders. Lu Ming wanted to challenge the commander? Was he trying to ascend to the position of commander? Commander Yi Yang was especially shocked. A trace of fear flashed in his eyes. He was afraid. He was afraid that Lu Ming would challenge him. Impudent. Who do you think you are? You're not even a commander's guard, yet you still want to challenge a commander? This is the commander's assembly, why aren't you getting lost? Commander Yi Yang stood up and chided. If I remember correctly, the rule of Fengming country states that anyone can challenge the commander. As long as they defeat and kill the other party, they can replace the other party's position. Did I remember wrongly? Lu Ming cast a glance at Commander Yi Yang and said sarcastically. Of course you can. At this moment, Monarch Fengming laughed out loud. He was naturally happy to see the challenges between his subordinates. Only in this way, the strong would replace the weak, and his country of Fengming would become stronger and stronger. Which commander do you want to challenge? Asked King Fengming. Many of the 13 commanders present became nervous. I want to challenge Commander Yi Yang. Lu Ming stretched out his hand and pointed at Yi Yang. Yi Yang's face turned pale and his eyes were filled with fear. He could not fathom Lu Ming's combat strength at all. He had just killed a second-level void transformation stage expert. He knew that he was stronger than the foreign tribe's royal family, but not by much. He was not confident that he could defeat Lu Ming. Damn it, damn it. Commander Yi Yang roared in his heart. He was filled with regret. If he had known this would happen, he would not have taken Lu Ming in as his guard. He blamed everything on Lu Ming. He did not think about why Lu Ming had challenged him. He felt that everything he had done was right. Yi Yang, why aren't you accepting the challenge? Are you afraid of your own guard? The commander of the border city sneered. Commander Yi Yang's face turned red. In the end, he was helpless. He had to fight this battle. Otherwise, he would not be able to survive in Fengming country. Buzz. He leaped onto the fighting ring and looked at Lu Ming coldly. He held a combat sword in each of his hands. The two combat swords emitted a dark light. All of a sudden, Commander Yi Yang made his move. He attacked first. His two combat swords turned into two cold venomous snakes and charged at Lu Ming. At the same time, his lower body, the snake tail, was like a sharp long sword, stabbing toward Lu Ming. When they worked together, it was impossible to guard against. However, Lu Ming did not need to defend at all. He could just attack. Buzz. The long spear vibrated and Lu Ming swept it out. The purple-gold spear expanded as it swept out. It became thousands of meters long and crushed towards Commander Yi Yang. No matter how tricky Yi Yang's attack was, it was useless. In the face of such a brutal attack, he could only take it head-on. The combat sword in his hands slashed continuously. In an instant, he had slashed more than 1,000 times, hitting the long spear condensed by Lu Ming's power of domination and letting out a dense roar. But even so, Commander Yi Yang was still sent flying by the terrifying power of the spear. His face turned pale. Bang! Lu Ming stepped on the fighting ring and leaped high into the air. He held the spear with both hands and smashed it down at Yi Yang with the force of Mount Tai. A huge spear ray pressed down like a mountain range. Commander Yi Yang roared and used all his strength. His body was covered in a layer of green light. The next moment, he actually turned into a huge python and soared into the sky. Boom! The long spear collided heavily with the python. The python screamed and fell off the fighting ring, revealing Yi Yang's appearance again. At this moment, his breathing was weak and he spat out a large mouthful of blood. His face was filled with fear. Whoosh! Lu Ming became one with his spear and turned into a spear ray, charging towards Yi Yang. No, no, I admit defeat, Commander Yi Yang screamed in fear. However, Lu Ming's long spear did not stop at all. It pierced through Commander Yi Yang. Commander Yi Yang's eyes widened and he looked at Lu Ming in horror. Then, he stopped breathing. Commander Yi Yang, an expert at the second-level void transformation stage, chased Lu Ming away because he was afraid of Commander Rama. However, he attracted a fatal disaster for himself. Chapter 2470 New ranking Yi Yang was dead. Some of the commanders heaved a sigh of relief. They looked at Lu Ming with a grave expression. To be able to kill Yi Yang, his combat power had already surpassed most of the commanders. Only some of the higher-ranked commanders could do it. Commander Rama's eyes were cold, but he didn't say anything. Among the crowd, Bamboo and Liao Min were the most shocked. So strong, he's so strong. How did this happen? Blue muttered, his eyes filled with shock. At the thought that he had offended Lu Ming previously, he could not help but shiver. Lu Ming could even kill Commander Yi Yang. It would be a piece of cake to kill him. Alright, Lu Ming, you've killed Yi Yang and replaced him. You're temporarily ranked 9th. You can participate in the challenge of the General Assembly later. King Fengming announced. Many thanks, country ruler. Lu Ming cupped his fists in thanks and then returned to the stands. This subordinate pays his respects to Lord Commander. As soon as Lu Ming returned to the grandstand, Liao Min bowed respectfully. Now that Lu Ming had taken over Yi Yang's position and became a commander, he was their immediate superior. Liao Min sighed secretly. Not long ago, Lu Ming was the same as them, just a guard. But now, he had become a commander and replaced Yi Yang's position. This was the world of cultivation. The strong were respected. As long as one had the strength, reputation and status were at their fingertips. Your subordinate greets Lord Commander. At the side, Blue also hurriedly bowed, his head deeply lowered in respect. Lu Ming cast an indifferent glance at Blue. Blue's body trembled and he broke out in cold sweat. No need to be so polite, sit down. Lu Ming waved his hand. Then, he sat down. The challenge continued. It was still the commander of the border city who issued the challenge. Originally, the border city's commander was going to challenge Yi Yang, but now that Yi Yang was dead, the commander had become Lu Ming. He had seen Lu Ming's combat strength just now. He knew that he was no match for Lu Ming. Therefore, he skipped Lu Ming and challenged the 8th-ranked commander. Naturally, he was defeated. Next, it was Lu Ming's turn to challenge. I give up the challenge. Lu Ming said loudly. Since he had already obtained the commander's position, Lu Ming had no intention of continuing the challenge. Going too far was as bad as not going too far. He understood this principle. He could already do a lot of things with this commander's position. Lu Ming's decision to give up on the challenge delighted some of the commanders, especially those who were ranked before him. The challenge continued. The next challenge did not have much suspense. 100 years was too short for experts like them. Their strength would not change much. Very quickly, it was Rama's turn to challenge. Will he challenge Lu Ming first? Many people thought so. Lu Ming had just killed one of Rama's powerful guards. Given Rama's character, he would not let Lu Ming off so easily. However, Rama took a few glances at Lu Ming and did not challenge him. After all, Lu Ming's strength still made Luo Mo somewhat apprehensive. He was afraid that after challenging Lu Ming, he would then challenge Commander Yu Zhan and not be at his peak. Therefore, he did not challenge Lu Ming. Instead, he looked at Yu Zhan. As expected, the guards that Rama sent out after him were all guards that challenged Commander Yu Zhan. The two sides were locked in battle. However, Commander Rama still lost a guard. The other party still had a guard, but Rama no longer had a guard. He had to fight himself. Luo Mo leaped onto the battle platform and looked at Commander Yu Zhan. Yu Zhan, come down and fight. Defeat my guard first. Yu Zhan said coldly. After which, his guard leaped onto the fighting stage. The last guard under Yu Zhan's command was also a Heavenly Emperor expert, but he was only a 1-star Heavenly Emperor. A first-level void transformation martial artist wants to consume my energy? You must be dreaming. Get lost. Die. Luo Mo shouted loudly and sent out a palm strike. The terrifying power of the palm strike was like an avalanche as it surged towards the other party. Third-level void transformation stage. Commander Rama's cultivation base was at the third-level void transformation stage, which was equivalent to a 3-star Heavenly Emperor. He was much stronger than a 1-star Heavenly Emperor. Although the other party had used all his means, he was still unable to change the outcome. He was blasted off the fighting ring by Rama's palm force. Yu Zhan, do it yourself. Don't call these small fries over. Luoma looked at Commander Yuzhan, radiating a powerful battle intent. You haven't fought for 100 years. Let's see where your confidence comes from. Commander Yuzhan spoke coldly. With a move of his body, he appeared on the battle platform, standing opposite to Commander Luoma. Boom! Both of them burst out with powerful auras. Their auras collided and produced a violent boom. Without a doubt, Commander Yuzhan was also a 3-star heavenly emperor. Boom! Suddenly, the two of them moved. They turned into 2 rays of light and fiercely collided with each other, starting an intense battle. Bang! Bang! The attacks of the 2 men kept clashing against each other, and the fighting ring was filled with endless rumbles. In the blink of an eye, the 2 had exchanged dozens of moves. Then, there was a violent explosion and the 2 of them retreated rapidly. The only difference was that Yuzhan had retreated over 20 steps, while Rama had only retreated a dozen steps. Rama, your cultivation base. Commander Yuzhan looked at Commander Luomo in shock, his eyes filled with disbelief. Ha ha ha, Yuzhan, I'm only a step away from the 4th level of the void transformation stage now. Let's see how you're going to fight me. Luomo laughed madly and was filled with confidence. This time around, he was confident that he could defeat Yuzhan, not only because of that royal member of the foreign race, but also because of his own strength. In the past 100 years, his cultivation had finally made another breakthrough. He was only 1 step away from the 4th level void transformation stage and had already reached the limit of the 3rd level void transformation stage. His combat strength had already surpassed Yuzhan. The other commanders were also extremely shocked. This time, the ranking of the commanders was probably going to change. Yuzhan, be defeated. Commander Luoma continued to charge at Commander Yuzhan. Don't even think about it. Commander Yuzhan roared in anger, and the 2 of them once again engaged in an intense battle. However, although Luomo was stronger, he wasn't that much stronger. Under Yuzhan's desperate resistance, it wouldn't be easy for Luomo to obtain victory. The 2 of them exchanged more than 200 moves. In the end, Commander Yuzhan was no match for Commander Luoma and was defeated. Commander Yuzhan returned to the grandstand with an unsightly expression and circulated his martial arts to treat his injuries. Alright, this time's commanders' meeting has ended. Next, I will announce the rankings of the commanders for the next 100 years, said King Fengming. Everyone's spirits were lifted. The new ranking was about to be released, and this would affect the distribution of benefits later. First place. Rama. King Fengming announced the first place. It's really Rama. Many people were shocked. Although Luomo had lost a guard this time, he was still extremely powerful. He was invincible among the 13 commanders. It was normal for him to be ranked first after defeating Commander Yuzhan. Commander Yuzhan's face turned gloomy, while Commander Luoma laughed out loud before thanking Monarch Fengming. Chapter 2471 Bullying I, 2nd place, Yuzhan, 3rd place, shortly. 9th place, Lu Ming. Very soon, Lu Ming had announced the ranking of all the commanders. There was not much change in the rankings. The only ones that had changed were Luomo and Yuzhan, as well as Lu Ming who had killed Yi Yang and replaced his position. Alright, the General Assembly has ended. My beloved subjects, please enjoy your meal. Country ruler Fengming smiled and ordered his men to serve all sorts of delicacies. It wasn't until the next day that the crowd dispersed. Lu Ming brought bamboo and Liao Min back to the governor's manor. Throughout the journey, Bin Biyu was trembling with fear, afraid that Lu Ming would find trouble with him. This subordinate pays his respects to the commander. The moment he returned to the governor's manor, he saw the other guards leading the people from the governor's manor to welcome Lu Ming respectfully. Obviously, they had already received the news that Yi Yang had died in Lu Ming's hands and that Lu Ming had inherited the position of commander. Everyone, there's no need to be so polite. I'll still need to rely on you to do things for me in the future. Lu Ming smiled. I'm willing to die for the commander. Blue was one step ahead. I'm willing to die for the commander. The others also shouted. Alright, well, stay in the imperial capital for now. You guys go help me with something. Send people to find these three-eyed people. Lu Ming took out a jade talisman. The jade talisman glowed and many pictures appeared in the air. These pictures were the appearances of the different races of the foreign races. When you find these people, don't beat the grass and alert the snake. Come back and report to me. Lu Ming instructed. Yes. Everyone bowed and Lu Ming dismissed them. Lu Ming picked a room. After he entered the room, a storage ring appeared in his hand. This storage ring belonged to Yi Yang. Lu Ming was looking forward to it. He wondered how many resources Yi Yang had in his storage ring. Lu Ming's spiritual senses entered and he began to count. Not long after, Lu Ming's face broke into a smile. 3 million divine stones. There were 3 million divine stones in Yi Yang's storage ring, which was equivalent to 300 billion supreme-grade raw stones. Lu Ming was overjoyed. These resources were enough for him to break through to the 4-star Great Emperor realm, or even the 5-star Great Emperor realm. However, Yi Yang's storage ring didn't have any combat weapons that were equivalent to the heavenly Dao soldiers. There were only weapons that were equivalent to Great Emperor weapons. It seemed that weapons that were equivalent to Heaven Dao soldiers were relatively precious even in Netherworld Mountain. However, Lu Ming was already quite satisfied. Next, he only needed to send people to search for the alien races. If they could be killed, Lu Ming would kill them directly. However, it would be more troublesome to find living beings from the Heaven Realm. The creatures of the Heaven Realm were closer to the creatures of Netherworld Mountain. Unless he met them in person and could sense the aura of the Heaven Realm on them, it would be difficult for others to find them. Also, Lu Ming wanted to find out more about the cursed land in the capital of Fengming. He wanted to find an opportunity to enter it. However, these things could not be rushed. He had to take it one step at a time. Lu Ming closed his eyes and began to cultivate. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. Lu Ming ended his cultivation and walked out. However, after Lu Ming walked around for a while, he felt a little strange. The number of people in the governor's manor had decreased. At that moment, a figure flashed and Liao Min appeared not far away. Greetings, Commander. Liao Min saluted, but her expression was not good. What's wrong, Liao Min? Why do I feel that the number of people in the governor's manor has decreased by a lot? Lu Ming asked. Commander, something has happened. Liao Min said with an ugly expression. Oh? What happened? Lu Ming asked, his expression still calm. Some time ago, Commander Rama released news that you killed his trusted guard. He won't let you off so easily. He'll kill you sooner or later. Liao Min said. And then? Lu Ming's expression remained calm. One could not tell what he was thinking. After that, Rama continued to say that the fault lies with you and it has nothing to do with the other people in the governor's manor. As long as the others submit to him, he would let bygones be bygones and entrust them with heavy responsibilities. Liao Min answered. And then, those people all ran to Rama? Lu Ming said with a smile. However, there was a cold glint in the depths of his eyes. That's right. Blue was the first to join Rama. During this period of time he has been encouraging others to join him. Now, 10 out of the 18 guards have joined Rama. Liao Min gritted her teeth and said. Hee, Rama, Lu Ming sneered. He didn't want to go too far, but some people were forcing him. At this moment, outside the governor's manor, a clamor suddenly rang out. Lu Ming extended his spiritual sense out and saw a group of people surrounding the entrance of the governor's manor. Blue was one of the few people in the lead. In addition, there were a few people who were the guards under Rama. Lu Ming's subordinates and a few guards stopped them at the door. "You people are still so stubborn. Are you following Lu Ming to your deaths?" Blue glanced at the guards and sneered. The guards' expressions were ugly and they were hesitating. As the leader of the 13 commanders, Commander Rama is very powerful. Lu Ming can't compare to him at all. Lu Ming will die sooner or later for offending Commander Rama. If you continue to follow him, you'll only be sending yourselves to your deaths. A wise man submits to circumstances. You'd better submit to Commander Rama as soon as possible. Blue continued. "Blue, you traitor." Liao Min couldn't stand it anymore. She rushed out and scolded. "Traitor? What a joke. Lu Ming is going to die. Why should I accompany him to his death? Liao Min, you'd better quickly submit to Lord Rama. I can put in a few good words for you and get you a job. Otherwise, you'll end up in a miserable state." Blue sneered as he scanned Liao Min with a pair of fiery eyes. Liao Min was furious, and her face turned red. "I'll give you one last chance. You only have 3 days. If you don't surrender to Lord Rama after 3 days, you'll die with Lu Ming." Blue said coldly. "Oh, really? I'd like to see what you're capable of." A cold voice was heard. Lu Ming stepped out. Lu Ming. At the sight of Lu Ming, Blue's eyes narrowed. He subconsciously took a few steps back, his eyes filled with fear. However, the next moment, he thought of something. His courage grew and he stopped. "Blue, I've already given you a chance. It's a pity that you didn't cherish it." Lu Ming said coldly, his body exuding a cold murderous intent. "Lu Ming, what do you want to do? I'm now Lord Rama's guard. You dare to touch me? You're looking for death." Blue shouted. "Didn't I already kill one of Rama's guards?" Lu Ming sneered. Blue's expression changed. "Lu Ming, Lord Rama has spoken. If you go and beg for his forgiveness now, then join him and work for him, he might consider sparing you." One of the Romo guards beside Blue said. This person had the cultivation base of a 1-star heavenly emperor. Chapter 2473. Killing his way to the door, he's asking me to help him? The corners of Lu Ming's lips curled up slightly, revealing a mocking expression. "All of you, go back and pass a message to him. Tell him that I, Lu Ming, will give him 3 days' time. Within 3 days, he must come and kneel before me to apologize. After that, he must submit to me and work for me. Otherwise, 3 days later, I will storm his governor's manor and take his dog life." What? Lu Ming's words stunned everyone. Luo Mo's words were to get Lu Ming to join him and work for him. Now, Lu Ming had actually asked Rama to kneel and apologize and then help Lu Ming with his work. This contrast stunned everyone, and they thought they had heard wrong. What did you just say?" One of the Rama guards pointed at Lu Ming with a trembling finger. He thought that he was dreaming. "Go back and tell them to get lost." Lu Ming shouted coldly. "Lu Ming, you're so stubborn. You're asking for death. Liao Min, do you see that? Lu Ming is arrogant and stubborn. He's asking for death, and he's going to bring all of you down with him. If you don't surrender now, I'll put in a few good words for you in front of Commander Rama." Blue shouted. "Do you want to surrender?" Lu Ming looked at Liao Min. "I'm willing to die for you, Commander." Liao Min gritted her teeth and cupped her fists. "What about you guys?" Lu Ming looked at the remaining guards. The guards' expressions changed. Then, they gritted their teeth and said, "I'm willing to die for you, Commander." "All right." Lu Ming revealed a smile on his face. "You guys. You're so stubborn, you're seeking death." Blue shouted. "Blowing." Lu Ming said coldly. He suddenly moved and appeared in front of Blue, pointing his finger. Pfft! A burst of energy shot out, directly piercing through Blue's dantian. Blue's eyes widened and he looked at Lu Ming in disbelief. Then, he started to scream crazily. He screamed wildly. He did not expect that Lu Ming would really dare to attack him now that he had become Rama's guard. His heart was filled with despair. Although the cultivation of the people of Netherworld Mountain was different from that of the Heaven Realm, there was one thing in common. That was, the dantian was still a vital point, a place to store energy. If his dantian was destroyed, his cultivation base would be crippled. "I'm not killing you now because I want you to see how I am going to destroy Rama. Get lost." Lu Ming shouted coldly and threw Blue out. The others were incomparably terrified, and they hurriedly retreated with Blue. Lu Ming did not say anything. He turned around and returned to the governor's manor. As for Lu Ming's request for Rama to kneel and apologize, if he did not apologize, the news that he would attack the Rama residence in 3 days spread like a whirlwind, throughout the entire capital. The capital was shaken. It had only been a few days since the meeting of the commanders. Many of the commanders had not returned to their respective territories. They were all shocked and were looking forward to the next development of the situation. "Damn it!" Rama's angry roar came from the governor's manor. "Lu Ming, you brat, how dare you? You're seeking your own death. Let's see how you're going to kill me in 3 days." Rama roared in anger as his cold killing intent enveloped the entire governor's manor. Countless experts in the capital were watching. The atmosphere in the capital was extremely tense. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. "Let's go. Follow me to the Romos governor's manor." Lu Ming strode out of the commander's residence and headed for the Rama residence. Liao Min and the other guards gritted their teeth and followed Lu Ming. They were taking a gamble. They realized that Lu Ming was too relaxed these few days. This wasn't done on purpose. He was really relaxed. If they were not confident, they would not be so relaxed. Therefore, they took a gamble. They bet that Lu Ming had the confidence to deal with Rama. If they bet correctly, they would definitely be successful. Lu Ming has set off. The moment Lu Ming came out, the entire capital was in an uproar. Countless people, both openly and secretly, followed Lu Ming as he headed for the Romos governor's manor. Not long after, Lu Ming arrived at the Romos governor's manor. The Romos governor's manor had already been heavily surrounded, both inside and outside. "Stop!" Outside the Romos governor's manor, someone stopped Lu Ming. "Get lost, die!" Lu Ming shouted coldly and took a step forward. A terrifying aura burst out, forming a storm-like force that rushed forward. Boom! Those people guarding the gate were directly sent flying out by the force. Lu Ming strode in. Inside the gate was a wide courtyard, which was already full of people. At the very top, Luo Mo was sitting on an armchair. On both sides of him were expert guards. Lu Ming's gaze swept across the room and he realized that Blue was there as well. Blue was glaring at Lu Ming with a venomous look. "Lu Ming, are you here to apologize to me?" Luo Mo sneered. Killing intent flashed in the depths of his eyes. "I'm here to take your dog head," Lu Ming said coldly. "How dare you? You're looking for death. How dare you be so rude to Commander Rama?" Luo Mo's guards all shouted. However, when Lu Ming's cold gaze swept across them, their expressions changed drastically and they broke out in cold sweat. "Now, I'll give you all a chance. I'll give you 10 breaths to consider. After 10 breaths, surrender to me and I'll let bygones be bygones. Lu Ming's gaze swept across the surroundings, looking as if he did not care about Rama at all. Ha ha ha. Luomo was so angry that he laughed. He stood up from his chair and a violent aura spread out, causing everyone to feel great pressure. Luomo had already reached the peak of the third-level void transformation stage. In Fengming country, other than the king, no one was his match. They're about to make their move. Outside the governor's manor, the other governors and experts were all paying close attention. At this moment, their hearts trembled. Kill him. Blue roared in his heart and could not wait to cut Lu Ming into 8 pieces. Today, I will make you wish you were dead. Luomo said coldly. As soon as he finished speaking, he rushed toward Lu Ming. Buzz! A snow-white scimitar appeared in Rama's hand. It was extremely sharp and he slashed at Lu Ming. Lu Ming clenched his fist and condensed a long spear with the way of domination. He swept the spear out. Clang! The two attacks collided, creating a terrifying shockwave that swept in all directions. Quickly retreat! The surrounding people retreated frantically, afraid of being dragged in. With a loud boom, Lu Ming and Rama both took a few steps back. We're on par. How is that possible? Many people were shocked. Lu Ming could actually fight to a draw with Rama. They finally knew why Lu Ming dared to come all the way here. It turned out that he had enough capital. Kill! Luomo roared and unleashed his combat strength to the maximum as he charged toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming held his long spear and charged over. Lu Ming did not use his physical strength. He only used the way of the master to fight. Now that Lu Ming's cultivation had reached the 3-star Great Emperor level, he could suppress an ordinary 3-star Heavenly Emperor with the Tao of Domination alone. Chapter 2474 Killing Rama. The scimitar in Rama's hand continued to slash out. His saber technique was fierce and sharp. He aimed at Lu Ming's vital parts from a tricky angle. However, Lu Ming's long spear shook and turned into rays of spear light, blocking all the saber lights. In the blink of an eye, the two of them had exchanged dozens of moves. The two of them fought from the courtyard of the governor's mansion up into the sky, their chi spreading out in all directions like a storm. However, Luomo's figure was continuously pushed back as the energy spread out. Every time he collided with Lu Ming's long spear, he would have to take a step back. After dozens of moves, he had already taken dozens of steps back. Damn it, how is this possible? How can he be so strong? Luomo roared in his heart. With his cultivation base at the peak of the third-level void transformation stage, only the king of Fengming could suppress him in Fengming country. Now, Lu Ming, who did not seem to have a high cultivation base, actually had a stronger combat strength than him. He could not believe it. Impossible. Blue, who was in the crowd, roared in his heart. His face was completely twisted. His cultivation had been crippled by Lu Ming. He was looking forward to Rama defeating Lu Ming and even crippling Lu Ming's cultivation so that Lu Ming would be better off dead. Unfortunately, his wish was destined to never come true. Liao Min and the others were overjoyed. They knew that they had made the right bet. Lu Ming was completely capable of dealing with Rama. They were not afraid. Kill, die. Luomo roared in the sky as he used all his strength. His body was even surrounded by a blood-red mist. The scimitar in his hand was also covered with a layer of blood-red light. Its power was instantly increased by a level and it could actually fight with Lu Ming without being at a disadvantage. The creatures in Netherworld Mountain are much stronger than those in the Heaven Realm or the Evil God Realm. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He was a little surprised. In the outside world, given Lu Ming's combat strength, he could probably kill a 3-star celestial the arch with the Tao of domination in many moves, unless the other party was shockingly talented. But now, he could only barely gain an advantage against Rama with his ruler's Tao. The creatures of Netherworld Mountain cultivated extremely condensed power. The combat skills they cultivated, when combined with that power, were shockingly powerful and invincible. In this aspect, he was a little like Xian Yanqing. However, Xian Yanqing was stronger. Rama, is this your full strength? Then let's end this. Lu Ming said coldly. Buzz. At this moment, all the muscles and bones in his body started to shake. At the same time, the long spear in his hand disappeared and was replaced by the Great Desolation Spear. Lu Ming used his physical strength, the Heaven Dao Soldier, and the Great Desolation Spear. With the two enhancements, Lu Ming's combat strength increased tremendously. Boom! The Great Desolation Spear swept out and collided with Luo Mo's scimitar, causing a shocking explosion. Buzz! The scimitar in Rama's hand kept shaking. The terrifying power sent him flying. His arm was almost broken. The qi and blood in his body churned, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. You! Weapon? Luo Mo was shocked. Whoosh! Whoosh! Lu Ming did not give Rama any chance to catch his breath. He kept stabbing with the Great Desolation Spear. The spear's gleam was thousands of miles long and pierced through the space, aiming at Rama. Rama was shocked and tried to block frantically. However, he could not block it at all. Every time he blocked a spear radiance, he would be sent flying. After blocking more than a dozen of them, there was finally an opening. Lu Ming's spear pierced through his chest, leaving a large hole in it. Luo Mo spat out a mouthful of blood. Under the destructive power, half of his body exploded. He was severely injured, and his strength was greatly reduced. Lu Ming stepped in the air and swept the Great Desolation Spear. No, I'm willing to surrender, Rama shouted in fear. He understood that he was not Lu Ming's match. If he did not surrender, he would die. I've given you a chance before, but you didn't know how to cherish it. Lu Ming said coldly. He would not give his opponent another chance. He wanted to establish his might with this battle. The long spear carried a terrifying power as it crushed over. Luo Mo's combat power was greatly reduced, and he was unable to avoid it. He could only block with his scimitar. Thump! The Great Desolation Spear swept across his curved blade and struck his body heavily. He was sent flying like a broken sack. In the process of flying, his body exploded into several pieces. Kill! Lu Ming thrust his spear across the air. A ray of spear light pierced through the void and destroyed Rama's soul. Then, a wave of energy rolled and Rama's storage ring was kept in his hand. Luo Mo was dead. The entire place was silent. Everyone knew that with Rama's death, the rankings of the remaining commanders would definitely change. Plop! In the crowd, Blue's body went limp and he fell to the ground, his face filled with despair. Lu Ming cast a cold glance at Blue but did not kill him. A cripple should be left to fend for himself. The commander is mighty. The commander is invincible. Liao Min shouted in excitement. Following that, the other guards who did not betray Lu Ming also shouted in excitement. They knew that they had made the right bet, so they were naturally excited. Lu Ming's gaze swept across Rama's subordinates and guards. Under Lu Ming's gaze, the guards and subordinates shivered and broke out in cold sweat. If any of you want to avenge Rama, feel free to attack. I'll take you all on. Lu Ming said coldly. Those people's faces were covered with cold sweat. The commander is invincible. We are willing to serve the commander. Immediately, a few people rushed out and saluted Lu Ming respectfully. You guys still have the face to serve the commander. You're really shameless. Liao Min berated them. This was because these people were Lu Ming's guards and they had previously sided with Rama. Hey! Lu Ming waved his hand and stopped Liao Min. He smiled and said, "This commander is magnanimous. As long as you come back and do your best for this commander, I will let bygones be bygones." To Lu Ming, Netherworld Mountain was just a passerby. He would not stay there for long. The most important thing for him now was to borrow the power here to find foreign races and obtain information about the cursed lands to obtain opportunities. Therefore, he didn't care whether the other party would betray him or what kind of heart he had. As long as he could use him, it was fine. He had already crippled Blue and killed Rama. It was enough to kill the chicken to warn the monkeys. "Many thanks, Commander." The few of them were ecstatic. "You're the same. Surrender to me now and work for me, and I'll let bygones be bygones." Lu Ming looked at Rama's subordinates. Those people looked at each other, then saluted Lu Ming in unison. They said loudly, "I'm willing to serve the commander. I'm willing to serve the commander." Instantly, all of Rama's subordinates saluted Lu Ming to show their allegiance. At this moment, an old man in official robes flew over and said, "The king has given the order to appoint Lu Ming as the first commander. He will be in charge of all the armies and territories of Rama." Chapter 2475 Identity discovered. It was obvious that King Fengming had been paying attention to this matter. As soon as Lu Ming won, King Fengming immediately sent someone to confer Lu Ming the title of first commander and to rope him in. "Many thanks, country ruler." Lu Ming cupped his fists. "Congratulations, Commander Lu. Congratulations." The other commanders also came forward to congratulate Lu Ming. Lu Ming nodded in response. Not long after, the crowd dispersed and Lu Ming officially took charge of the governor's manor, the army, and the territory of Rama. 2 days later, Lu Ming began to send people to investigate the foreign races in Fengming country. He also sent people to look for clues about the cursed land. There were many cursed lands in Netherworld Mountain, and the living beings of Netherworld Mountain could not enter. In Fengming country, there was a cursed land that was heavily guarded by Fengming country ruler. After more than 10 days, there was finally news that they had found traces of foreign races in the north of Fengming. According to their subordinates, there were a total of 3 alien races. Their cultivation levels were unknown, but they did not disturb them. A cold glint flashed in Lu Ming's eyes and he set off immediately. There was no reason for him to let the alien races go. Lu Ming charged over directly. In a valley, 3 non-humans were discussing how to enter the capital of Fengming and find an opportunity to enter the cursed land. However, these 3 alien races weren't particularly strong. 2 of them were 1-star heavenly emperors, and the other was a great emperor. Lu Ming could sense the other party's cultivation. He did not hesitate and attacked immediately. Whoosh! 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 Lu Ming rushed into the sky and shot out 3 spear lights. Without any suspense, the 3 foreign kinds were killed immediately. Then, he took the other party's storage ring and burned the alien's corpse to ashes. Lu Ming left the place. After that, there were no more traces of foreign races in Fengming. Netherworld Mountain was huge, and Fengming country was only a small part of it. This time, there were not many outsiders who came in. There were only a few thousand of them, and they were scattered. Naturally, there were not many people from Fengming country. Lu Ming put more energy into the cursed land. Lu Ming pondered on how to find an opportunity to sneak into the cursed land. At this moment, Monarch Fengming sent someone to summon Lu Ming. Within the imperial palace, in a large hall, Monarch Fengming sat on the high seat. Lu Ming walked into the hall and cupped his fists. Lu Ming greets the country ruler. "Commander Lu, please take a seat." King Fengming waved his hand, an inexplicable smile on his face. Lu Ming sat down at the side. I wonder why the country ruler has summoned Lu Ming? Lu Ming asked. King Fengming seemed to be smiling but not smiling. He muttered to himself for a moment before he suddenly opened his mouth. Lu Ming, if I'm not mistaken, you're not from the Netherworld world, are you? Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat, but his face remained calm. Country ruler must be joking. If I'm not from the Yellow Springs world, where would I be from? It came from beyond the heavens. King Fengming opened his mouth and his eyes became even brighter. In the ancient records of my Fengming country, there were records that in the distant past, who knows how many years ago, there were people from beyond the heavens who descended. These people from beyond the heavens were not afraid of the cursed land of Netherworld Mountain and could enter and leave freely. As for you, I can't find any information on you. It's as if you appeared out of thin air. After you became the commander, you immediately sent people to investigate some inexplicable people. Most importantly, you've been investigating the cursed lands all this time. No one in the Yellow Springs world is interested in the cursed lands because the people of the Yellow Springs world can't enter these cursed lands. Only people from beyond the heavens are interested in the cursed lands. Am I right? King Fengming's eyes were bright as he stared at Lu Ming. Lu Ming's thoughts turned quickly. He pondered for a while and said, "That's right, I'm indeed from beyond the heavens." Since the other party was already suspicious, there was nothing to hide. It was better to just say it out and negotiate with the other party. He really is from beyond the heavens. King Fengming's eyes were incomparably bright as he said excitedly, I didn't expect it, I didn't expect it. So the ancient records are true. I always thought it was just made up, just a legend. After a long while, Monarch Fengming finally calmed down. Lu Ming, you want to enter the cursed land, don't you? Asked King Fengming. Not bad. Lu Ming nodded and told him the truth. Legend has it that the cursed land was left behind by the most ancient ancestor of the Yellow Springs world. You'll have a great opportunity. Lu Ming, let's work together. I'll let you enter the cursed land, and you'll split the treasures you obtain 50-50. How about it? Said King Fengming. That's right, well split it 50-50. If I don't let you enter the cursed land, you won't be able to enter either. You have to understand this. King Fengming said, his body exuding a powerful aura. Monarch Fengming was a 4th-level void transformation stage martial artist. He was a peerless expert that was equivalent to a 4-star heavenly emperor. All right. Lu Ming did not hesitate and nodded. It was a win-win cooperation. Lu Ming did not have to fall out with the other party. Fine, haha, Commander Lu, you can go back first. I will let you know in a few days. King Fengming smiled. Lu Ming cupped his fists and left. Lu Ming returned to the governor's manor. He cultivated while waiting. He was looking forward to the cursed land. However, entering the cursed lands and whether one could gain anything from it still depended on luck. This was because before the Myriad tribulation, someone had entered the Yellow Springs world. However, it was too long ago before the Myriad tribulation. The Heaven realm was probably still in the earliest primordial era. At that time, there were probably not many powerful people, and there were probably not many living creatures that came in. There might be many cursed lands that had not been explored. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. Liao Min had something important to report to Lu Ming. Commander, there are more than 10 people outside saying that they are from your hometown and they want to see you. Liao Min said. From the same hometown? Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Wasn't his fellow villager from the Heaven realm? Quickly let them in. Lu Ming instructed. Yes. Liao Min nodded and left. A moment later, he came in with a dozen people. Senior 6 saints. Lu Ming's eyes lit up when he saw one of them. He went forward to greet him. These people were beings from the heaven realm. Lu Ming recognized one of the elders. He was Heavenly Venerate 6 Sages, a 4-star Heavenly Emperor tier powerhouse who guarded the Two-World City. Back then, he had met Lu Ming a few times. Apart from Heavenly Venerate 6 Sages, Lu Ming did not recognize the rest of the people. Judging by their cultivation, they were at the Celestial Emperor Realm and Great Emperor Realm. Among them, Heavenly Venerate 6 Sages' cultivation was the highest. Liao Min, you guys can leave. Lu Ming instructed Liao Min and the rest to leave. After Liao Min and the others left, only Lu Ming, 6 sages, and the others were left in the hall. Senior, are you also in the vicinity of Feng Ming? Lu Ming asked. No, we're here to look for you. Heavenly Venerate 6 Sages sighed. Lu Ming, I'm afraid that Feng Ming country is no longer safe. What's going on? Lu Ming's expression changed slightly. The foreign race has already obtained the Dragon People Empire's trust and is in control of the Dragon People Empire's powerful strength. The Celestial said. Chapter 2475 Entering the Cursed Land, Dragon People Empire. Upon hearing this name, Lu Ming's expression changed and he looked solemn. During this period of time, he had looked up a lot of information in the capital of Feng Ming, so he naturally knew about the Dragonman Empire. This was a powerful empire that was far stronger than the country of Feng Ming. There were many countries and forces in the Yellow Springs world. These countries and forces were divided into 4 levels according to their strength. The first level was like the Feng Ming Kingdom, where the strongest was a 4-star Heavenly Emperor or even a 5-star Heavenly Emperor. This level of power was the lowest level. The second level was where there were 6-star Heavenly Emperors or even peak 7-star Heavenly Emperors. Such a force was much stronger than the country of Feng Ming. The third level had an invincible master. What was an invincible master? In the Heaven Realm, the Primal Chaos Emperor and the Undying Emperor were invincible. They were half a step into the Martial God Realm. They were invincible below the Martial God Realm, and their strength was even stronger. Titan, a peak Heavenly Emperor. This was the Invincible Master. There weren't many of such forces in the Yellow Springs world. The fourth level, which was the strongest force, was the force with a martial god. On the surface, there was only one force like this in the entire Yellow Springs world, which was the Yellow Springs Empire, which occupied a large territory in the center of the Yellow Springs world. The Yellow Springs Empire had a martial god, and there was more than one. He was truly supreme and commanded the 8 directions. The Dragonman Empire was a second-tier power, and it had a peak Heavenly Emperor. Its strength was many times stronger than the Feng Ming Kingdom. And Feng Ming country was a small country near the Dragon People Empire. Now, the foreign race had actually obtained great power in the Dragonman Empire. Right now, the foreign races have borrowed the strength of the Dragonman Empire to sweep through some of the surrounding small countries. Many of our Heaven Realms people have died at the hands of the foreign races. We've just escaped. I heard that the commander of the country of Feng Ming is called Lu Ming. I guessed that it was you, so I rushed over to take a look. The Celestial said. In that case, I'm afraid that the foreign tribes will soon send experts to Feng Ming. Lu Ming said. I'm afraid so. It said that Feng Ming country has a cursed land. There aren't many small countries around the Dragon People Empire that have a cursed land. They'll definitely be targeted by the other party. The Celestial said. Lu Ming muttered to himself. After a while, he said, it's too much of a pity to leave now. King Feng Ming has already agreed to let me enter the cursed land. Let's wait a little longer. Once we enter the cursed land and take away the opportunities inside, we'll leave immediately. Alright, let's do that. Heavenly Venerate 6 sages and the others nodded in agreement. It would be a waste if he didn't take the opportunity. Moreover, he couldn't leave it for the alien race. Heavenly venerates 6 sages and the others would be staying in the governor's manor. Fortunately, they did not have to wait long. 2 days later, King Fengming sent someone to call for Lu Ming. Lu Ming brought 6 sages and the rest to the palace. Who are they? King Fengming looked curiously at 6 sacred heavenly venerate and the others. They are my friends. Let's enter the cursed land together. I don't know if there are any dangers in the cursed land, but the more people we have, the higher our chances of success. Lu Ming said. That's good too. However, we can't change our share, said King Fengming. Naturally. Lu Ming nodded. Come with me, King Fengming said. Then, he led a group of people towards the northern side of the palace. After leaving the palace, they arrived at a dense forest. After passing through the forest and a canyon, they saw a tall mountain. Of course, along the way, there were powerhouses standing guard. The cursed land is right in front of us. You guys can go in. As for whether there's any danger inside, I don't know, said King Fengming. Lu Ming nodded. Then, they walked forward. There was a stone door at the foot of the mountain in front of them. It was half open, and it was pitch black inside. Everyone slowed down and approached carefully. They didn't know if there was any danger in the cursed land, so they naturally didn't dare to be careless. Heavenly venerate 6th saint, who had the highest cultivation base, walked in front as the group carefully entered the gate. Behind the door was a passage, and it was so quiet that not a single sound could be heard. The group advanced carefully. This passageway was very long, at least a few thousand meters. After passing through the passageway, they would arrive at a huge underground cave. The cave was empty, with nothing inside. There were some stone doors around the cave. The group did not split up. They still gathered together and walked towards some stone doors. Behind the first stone door was a secret room, but there was nothing inside. The group came to the second stone door, which was also a secret room, but it was also empty. Everyone looked at each other. Could it be that this cursed land had already been visited by someone before the Myriad tribulation, and everything inside had been swept clean? The crowd was unwilling to give up and continued to search. Behind some of the stone doors, there was a passage. After walking in, they saw secret rooms. However, these secret rooms were all empty. Everyone looked disappointed. It seemed like they were really going to return empty-handed today. However, they were really unwilling to leave just like that. They planned to turn this place upside down and search for themselves. They continued to walk towards the stone doors that they had not searched. There's a passage behind this. There's no secret chamber, someone suddenly said. As the group walked, they found a passage that led straight ahead. The group followed this path and continued forward. After walking for an unknown distance, the passage became wider, but everyone had no choice but to stop. In front of him, there was a section of the wall and the ground that was filled with strange patterns that emitted a dim light. When these lines were put together, they looked like a huge array. Be careful. Heavenly venerate 6 sages reminded him before talking out a great emperor weapon and controlling it to fly forward. Buzz. When the emperor-level weapon passed through the path, the patterns suddenly glowed and countless fine threads filled the path. Some of these threads were snow-white, while some were crimson-red. They were like tiny sword chi, emitting a cold and hot aura. Yes, ice-cold and heat coexisted. The emperor weapon was enveloped by the threads and kept making ear-piercing sounds. Kacha. In just a few breaths, the emperor weapon was covered in cracks before it exploded and turned into dust that scattered in the air. Hiss hiss hiss. A few gasps could be heard. This was indeed a great formation, and its power was astonishing. A great emperor weapon would turn into powder in a few breaths' time. Not even a residue was left. If people went in, they would be dead. Those below the Heavenly Emperor realm turned pale. They knew that they couldn't go in and would stop here. "I'll try." A burly man stepped out and walked forward. Chapter 2476 Sword formation. Blocking the way, this burly man's entire body was pitch black, as if it was cast from black iron, and was filled with endless power. This burly man wasn't a human. His true form was a divine beast, a giant ape with infinite strength and strong defense. Moreover, he was a 2-star great emperor. Bang! Bang! He was cautious as he walked forward step by step. Finally, he stepped into the area of the great array. Buzz! Buzz! The runes seemed to shake and light up. Countless thin threads stabbed at the man like tiny swords. Block kit! The burly man roared as world energy filled his body. At the same time, he took out a few defensive emperor weapons and charged forward. However, the power of those tiny sword chi was too strong. In the blink of an eye, at least tens of thousands of tiny sword chi had hit him. The emperor-level weapons around him were covered in cracks in an instant before exploding and turning into dust. Ding! 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 As soon as the emperor weapon was broken, countless tiny sword chi hit the burly man. His body trembled violently, and he was stopped in his tracks. One side of his body was covered in a layer of frost, while the other side was extremely red. The burly man's expression was extremely unsightly. His body trembled and he suddenly spat out a large mouthful of blood. His aura rapidly weakened. Not good. Heavenly Venerate 6 Sage's expression changed. He rushed over and pulled the burly man out. Everyone saw that the burly man's body was covered with tiny holes, from which cold and hot air flowed out. The burly man quickly sat down cross-legged, swallowed a pill, and began to heal his injuries. He had been severely injured just now. If not for the help of the 6 sages, he would have definitely died here. The others looked solemn. The power of this grand array was also too powerful. Even a 2-star heavenly emperor couldn't resist it, so it would probably be the same for a 3-star heavenly emperor. "I'll try." A 3-star heavenly emperor was unwilling to give up and wanted to try. Unfortunately, he couldn't do it either. His defense was quickly broken by the tiny sword chi, and he spat out a large mouthful of blood. He was in a slightly better state than the burly man from before. He had taken the initiative to retreat, but he had also suffered considerable injuries. Even a 3-star heavenly emperor couldn't do it, so everyone turned to look at the 6 sages. His cultivation was the highest among the people present, so they could only rely on him now. "I'll do it." Heavenly Venerate 6 sages strode forward and stepped into the array. As soon as he stepped into the formation, a pagoda appeared in his hand and enveloped him within it. Then, he took a big step forward, wanting to rush over. That pagoda was a Heaven Dao soldier. However, the runes in the surroundings shone even brighter as boundless sword chi rushed towards 6 sages. In particular, the sword chi in front of him increased by several times, forming a wall of sword chi in front of him. Ding! 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 The sword chi attacked the Heaven Dao soldier in a frenzy, causing it to shake violently. Bang! Bang! Celestial Venerable 6 Saints unleashed his full power and a powerful aura emanated from him. Controlling the Heaven Dao soldier, he strode forward with all his might. However, every step was extremely difficult. After a few minutes, Heavenly Venerate 6 sages had only advanced less than 10 meters. One had to know that this section with the formation was a few hundred meters long. The sounds of the collision grew more and more intense, and the Heaven Dao soldiers also began to shake more and more violently. Sparks flew in all directions, and an ear-piercing sound came from the Heaven Dao soldier. Heavenly Venerate 6 Sage's expression changed drastically. Even the Heaven Dao soldiers were damaged and couldn't block it. Heavenly Venerate 6 Saints hurriedly retreated, not daring to advance. Retreating was much easier than advancing. Not long after, Heavenly Venerate 6 Sages had already retreated out of the array. He hurriedly checked the Heaven Dao soldier and found that there were a few small holes on it. Heaven Dao soldiers were too hard to come by. Now that they were damaged, it would be extremely troublesome to repair them. It seems that we can't go over. It's difficult to pass this formation without the cultivation of a 6-star Heavenly Emperor or above. The others sighed. However, at this moment, a figure stepped out. Lu Ming. The others were shocked. Lu Ming actually wanted to give it a try. If even Heavenly Venerate 6 Sages could not do it, how could Lu Ming? Bang! Bang! Lu Ming's speed was extremely fast as he stepped into the array. Lu Ming did not use the Heaven Dao soldier. The 6 sages had already proven that the Heaven Dao soldiers were useless. Using them would only damage them. Lu Ming wanted to try it with his own strength. Whoosh! 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 As soon as Lu Ming entered the formation, countless tiny sword auras rushed toward him. Some of the sword chi was extremely cold, while the others were extremely hot. Lu Ming felt that he was in a furnace where coldness and heat converged. Buzz! The muscles all over Lu Ming's body trembled rapidly. At the same time, he activated the imperishable golden body to block the sword chi. Ding! 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 When the sword chi stabbed Lu Ming's body, there was a piercing sound of metal clashing. Many of the sword chi were blocked. However, Lu Ming felt a sharp pain in his body as if he was being pricked by needles. Although most of the sword aura was blocked, a portion of it broke through Lu Ming's defense and pierced into his body. Lu Ming quickly activated the indestructible ancient scroll and recovered quickly. Fortunately, Lu Ming's physical body was extremely strong and his life force was exuberant. With the help of the indestructible ancient scroll, his injuries recovered very quickly. Bang! Bang! Lu Ming took a few steps forward. However, the further he went, the more sword aura he encountered. More sword chi pierced into Lu Ming's body. His recovery speed could not keep up with the speed of his injuries. My lord! Lu Ming growled. His entire body was covered in a purple gold light. The power of domination covered his entire body. A series of concentrated sounds rang out, and the ruler's power trembled, but it wasn't pierced. The sword chi was blocked. The power of a ruler is indeed effective. Lu Ming was overjoyed. Then, he continued to stride forward. In less than a minute, Lu Ming had advanced more than 50 meters, far surpassing the previous 6 sages. So fast, what kind of power is this? It's so terrifying that it can block the attack of that sword chi. The number 1 heaven's pride in the heaven realm is indeed extraordinary and incomparable. The others sighed and hoped that Lu Ming would be able to make it. Right now, the heaven realm and the foreign kinds were at a life and death juncture. The stronger the heaven realm was, the more hope they had. Naturally, they hoped that Lu Ming would be able to walk over and gain something. Bang! Bang! Lu Ming continued to move forward. 60 meters, 70 meters, 80 meters. Lu Ming moved forward 1 meter at a time. Very soon, he had walked past 100 meters. However, at this point, the power of the formation was even more terrifying. The sword chi was endless and densely packed as it blasted towards Lu Ming. Chapter 2478 Statue containing the will of a ruler in front of Lu Ming, the sword chi increased in number and formed a wall of sword chi. It kept attacking him, trying to push him back. The Nominator's power that enveloped Lu Ming's body was shaking more and more violently. There were even ripples in some places. At this rate, Lu Ming would not be able to hold on for long. There was still at least 100 meters ahead. Could it be that we're going to stop here? Lu Ming thought to himself and felt a little indignant. Although he did not know what was in front of him, or perhaps it would still be empty after he passed, Lu Ming was a little unwilling to leave without taking a look since he had already come this far. The Tao of domination rules over everything, including the power of heaven and earth. It's reasonable to say that it rules over everything in the world, including this sword qi. Many thoughts flashed through Lu Ming's mind. Then, his eyes lit up and he growled, "Get out of my way, my lord." He was using the Tao of Sovereign as a medium to control the sword qi through heaven and earth. Whoosh! Whoosh! The sword qi flew at high speed, but when it got close to Lu Ming, it curved and flew past him. It's effective, it's really effective. Lu Ming was overjoyed. He then focused on controlling the way of domination and the sword aura. Indeed, when the sword qi neared Lu Ming, it would curve and fly past him. Lu Ming increased his speed and sped forward. This, heavenly venerates 6 sages and the others were dumbfounded. Bang! Bang! Lu Ming's speed increased exponentially as he strode forward. Although there were more and more sword qi in front of him, none of them could hit Lu Ming. Very soon, Lu Ming had crossed the distance of more than 100 meters and passed through the formation. The Tao of a sovereign is truly profound. Can it really control all things in the world? That's truly terrifying. At the thought of this, Lu Ming was secretly delighted. This way, he could even control the enemy's attacks. For example, if the opponent's attack was about to hit him, he would control it and attack the enemy instead. What kind of scene would that be? However, Lu Ming also understood that this had something to do with one's cultivation and strength. If the sword formation was stronger, Lu Ming would not be able to control it. Similarly, if the opponent's combat strength was too strong, Lu Ming would also find it difficult to control. Everything was still related to his own strength. Everyone, Lu Ming will go to the front and take a look. Lu Ming said to 6 sages and the rest. Go, be careful. The Celestial said. Lu Ming nodded and continued to move forward along the passageway. Not long after, they reached the end of the passage. At the end of the passage was a stone room. The stone room was empty. Lu Ming looked disappointed. It seemed that he would have to return empty-handed again. Wait a minute. All of a sudden, Lu Ming's gaze was cast on a statue against the wall of the stone room. This statue was a young man. This person was very handsome and looked to be in his 20s. His hands were behind his back, and his eyes were like stars. He exuded a domineering intent realm. That's right. It was the will of a ruler. It was very similar to the way of a ruler that Lu Ming had comprehended. How could this be? This intent is definitely the Tao of domination. Lu Ming muttered, his eyes filled with shock. At this moment, he let his imagination run wild, and many thoughts flashed through his mind. Could it be that there was someone else in the world who had comprehended the Tao of a sovereign? He couldn't help but think back to when the foreign race's divine ancestor had seen his power and seemed to have recognized it. Also, the ancestral dragon recognized this power and called it ruler power. In the past, Lu Ming had thought that the power that he had comprehended was unique. This was because he had comprehended 10 ultimate laws and 71 king path laws before he could comprehend the ruler's path. Now, it seemed that it was possible that someone else had comprehended the Tao of a ruler. The owner of this statue must have also comprehended the Tao of a ruler, or else the ruler's intent wouldn't be so dense. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. It wasn't a bad thing for him that someone else had comprehended the ruler's path. If he was the only one who had comprehended the Tao of domination, then he could only rely on himself to blindly explore. If someone else had comprehended the Tao of domination, then he would have a ready-made path to walk on. The will of a sovereign emanating from this statue will be of great use to me. Lu Ming's eyes brightened. He immediately sat down cross-legged and controlled the way of a sovereign. The power of a sovereign spread toward the statue. Buzz! It seemed to have resonated with Lu Ming's Tao of domination. The statue shook slightly and a layer of purple-gold light emanated from it. At this moment, Lu Ming seemed to see a young man with his hands behind his back. He was unparalleled in his style and he ruled the world. At this moment, Lu Ming's understanding of the way of the master was slowly deepening. Just as Lu Ming was comprehending the ruler's Tao, outside the cursed land, King Fengming was standing guard with a group of people. He was waiting for Lu Ming to come out. At this moment, a middle-aged man flew over with a panicked expression. "Country ruler, something bad has happened." The middle-aged man shouted anxiously from a distance. "What's the matter?" King Fengming frowned. "Country ruler, the Yuan High country, the Great Yen country, and the Bright Moon country have joined forces and sent their armies to attack our Fengming country. We already have 18 cities that have been occupied by the other party." The middle-aged man reported. "What?" King Fengming turned pale with fright. "How is that possible? These three countries all have enmity with each other, how could they join forces to attack my country of Fengming?" King Fengming simply couldn't believe it. "Report." At this moment, another burly man flew over. "What is it?" King Fengming said anxiously. "Country ruler, the messengers from the Source Ocean country, the Bright Moon country, and the Great Yen country want to see you." The burly man reported. "Meet him, quickly meet him. He's just outside the capital." King Fengming quickly said. Then, he hurriedly brought his men back. 2 days later, Monarch Fengming met with the emissaries from the three kingdoms outside the capital. To his shock, King Fengming discovered that beside the three envoys, there were a few strange-looking people. These people all had 3 eyes. If Lu Ming was here, he would have known at a glance that these people were from the evil god race. The emissaries from the other nations were all followed by people from the evil god tribe. Furthermore, there was a 4-star heavenly emperor from the evil god tribe beside each emissary. "Everyone, I wonder why you all want to join forces to attack my Fengming country?" asked King Fengming. In particular, the Bright Moon country, which had a good relationship with the Fengming country, had come to attack the Fengming country, which made him confused. "We're just following orders," the envoy from the Bright Moon country said. "Following orders?" King Fengming was shocked. "That's right. A lord from the Dragonman Empire has ordered your Fengming kingdom's cursed land to allow these outsiders to enter the cursed land." The envoy from the Mingyue kingdom pointed at the evil god race and said. Chapter 2478 Crisis Translator, an outsider? It's a person from beyond the heavens. King Fengming's heart moved as he understood. There were definitely people from beyond the heavens who had been valued by the Dragonman Empire's big shots or had cooperated with them to enter some cursed lands and obtain the treasures inside. Just like the cooperation between him and Lu Ming, emissaries, I'm afraid you're too late. Someone has already entered the cursed land, explained King Fengming. Someone went in? Who was it? What does he look like? A purple-haired member of the evil god race asked. He was a member of the royal race of the evil god race. In fact, the number of foreign royal clans that came to Netherworld Mountain this time was relatively large. That person's name is Lu Ming. Country ruler Fengming described Lu Ming's name and appearance. Lu Ming, it's Lu Ming. So it's Lu Ming. Very good. The divine ancestor has given the order to kill Lu Ming without mercy. A few of the foreign kinds spoke one after another, and their 3 eyes glowed with a cold light. You, bring us to the cursed land. Otherwise, the country of Fengming will be destroyed. One of the evil god race members said. Yes, I'll take you there now. Don't worry. King Fengming hurriedly nodded. He had no choice, the other party was sent by the Dragonman Empire and he did not dare to disobey. There were experts at the peak of the Void Transformation stage guarding the Dragon People Empire. As for those at the 4th level Void Transformation stage and above, there were even more of them. He was the only 4th level Void Transformation stage martial artist in the Fengming country. If he went against the Dragon People Empire, only death awaited him. Lu Ming, don't blame me for turning my back on you. You can only blame your bad luck for offending someone you shouldn't have. King Fengming said awkwardly. Following that, he brought the emissaries from the other kingdoms and the experts from the evil god tribe towards the cursed land. Soon, they arrived outside the cursed land. Are there any dangers in this cursed land? The royal member of the evil god tribe asked. I don't know about this. King Fengming shook his head. He wasn't sure about this. There was no record of this in the ancient records. Generally, cursed lands are dangerous. I suggest that we stand guard outside and let Lu Ming take the risk inside to help us clear the way. It's best if he dies inside. If he doesn't die and comes out with an opportunity, it'll be beneficial to us. What do you think? One of the evil god race members said. Good, that's great. Lu Ming got some opportunities and came out in high spirits. I wonder what his expression will be when he finds out that he's an Oriole behind him. Ha ha ha. A few members of the evil god race started laughing. Everyone, apart from Lu Ming, there are some other people. One of them is an expert at the 4th level of the Void Transformation stage. Why don't we? King Fengming rolled his eyes and offered a conspiracy. Good, ha ha ha. The evil god tribe members laughed after hearing this. Lu Ming knew nothing about the outside world. He was fully focused on comprehending the way of the ruler. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed, and Lu Ming felt that he had gained a lot. Meditating on the Tao of a ruler for half a month here was comparable to fumbling around outside for a few years. Let Heavenly venerate 6 sages and the others know. I'll probably still need some time to comprehend it. Lu Ming pondered. Although he did not obtain anything here, to Lu Ming, there was nothing more useful than this statue. This was his chance. When Lu Ming returned to the edge of the formation, he realized that 6 sages and the rest were still there. Lu Ming explained the situation inside. Lu Ming, go and cultivate. I'll wait for you here. While you're at it, I'll take a look at the other places and search. The Celestial said. They hadn't completely searched the cursed land before. While Lu Ming was in seclusion, they could do a thorough search. Many thanks, Senior. Lu Ming nodded and returned to the statue to continue comprehending the way of the master. Time flew by, and 3 months had passed. Lu Ming's understanding of the way of the master had improved greatly. Lu Ming felt that as long as he had enough resources, he would be able to break through and reach for Star Great Emperor. Lu Ming planned to find a place to break through after he went out. Unfortunately, the ruler's will on this statue is limited. I've already comprehended most of it. Lu Ming sighed. He felt that even if he continued to study it, he wouldn't be able to make much of a difference. Gotcha. At that moment, a crack suddenly appeared on the statue. The cracks were very thin at first, but they quickly grew longer and larger. In the end, the cracks were like a spider's web, densely covering the statue. Bang! In the end, the entire statue exploded and turned into ashes. Lu Ming was dumbfounded. What was going on? Could it be that if he completely comprehended the ruler's will on the statue, it would collapse? This was the only explanation that made sense. Otherwise, Lu Ming really could not figure it out. When the statue exploded, a strong fragrance filled the air. Lu Ming discovered that there was a pit under the statue. There was a plant in the pit. The plant was bare and had no leaves. It only had a trunk, and on the trunk hung a bright red fruit. The fruit was crystal clear and had a treasure light flowing around it. It gave off a strong medicinal fragrance. What kind of fruit is this? It's so rich in life essence. Lu Ming tried to identify it, but he could not identify what this plant was. He had come into contact with all kinds of spirit herbs, saint herbs, and emperor herbs, but there was no such record. However, the life essence in this fruit was really too rich. It was so rich that it was shocking. If I refine this fruit, I'm afraid I can make a breakthrough in my physical body. Lu Ming had a thought in his mind. At the thought of this, his eyes lit up. If he could make another breakthrough in his body and cultivate the 7 gods' mysterious technique to the middle of the 6th level, he would be able to suppress an ordinary 4-star heavenly emperor with his physical strength alone. He would even be able to fight against the 4th level void transformation stage in Netherworld Mountain. With the Tao of a ruler, his battle power would increase dramatically. Refine. Lu Ming made a prompt decision and walked over. He observed carefully and found no danger. Lu Ming uprooted the plant and plucked the fruit. He planted the root in his own small world. Lu Ming sat cross-legged, holding the fruit and observing it for a while. The fruit was the size of a fist, and it was overflowing with life essence. Lu Ming gritted his teeth and swallowed the fruit in one bite. Boom! The moment the fruit entered Lu Ming's body, it was like a volcanic eruption. Waves of scorching energy erupted and rushed into Lu Ming's limbs and bones. What a shocking amount of energy. Good, good. Lu Ming was not shocked. Instead, he was happy. Now, his physical body was equivalent to the heavenly emperor realm. It was too difficult to break through. One had to know that once his physical body broke through, he would have to cross several levels. The amount of energy required was simply too much, so much that it was shocking. The more energy the fruit contained, the more confident he would be in breaking through. Chapter 2480 Strength Increase. Boom. 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 The fiery red fruit exploded in Lu Ming's body like a volcano, turning into waves that surged into his limbs and bones. It was as if Lu Ming's physical body was wrapped in endless lava and was about to melt. Waves of pain spread throughout his body. The energy contained in the fiery red fruit was truly shocking. Even with Lu Ming's current physical body, he could not withstand it and was about to be torn apart. The indestructible ancient scroll, the power of a sovereign. Lu Ming growled as he circulated the indestructible ancient scroll to heal his injuries. At the same time, he circulated his ruler's Tao. The path of domination was to dominate everything. Lu Ming tried to dominate the energy and control it from there. It was indeed useful. Under the path of a ruler, the energy became much more docile. Then, Lu Ming circulated the mysterious 7 gods technique. His muscles, bones, and bones vibrated at 10 billion times per second to refine the energy. Whoosh! Streams of energy were like the water of a river, flowing into Lu Ming's body. With every vibration, endless energy was used up and refined. It seeped into Lu Ming's muscles, bones, strengthening his body. Lu Ming's physical body was improving rapidly. It was a true speed, much faster than when he cultivated in the dragon essence pool in the lair of Zulong. The energy of the lair of Zulong was relatively mild. However, the energy of this fruit was extremely violent. Fortunately, it was Lu Ming. If someone else had swallowed the entire fruit, they would have exploded and died. However, the berserk state brought about a rapid improvement in his physical body. Refine, refine, refine. Lu Ming put all his effort into refining it. Very soon, a month had passed. Boom! Before the energy from the fruit was completely refined, Lu Ming's body shook like thunder. He had broken through. His physical body had broken through to the middle of the 6th stage of the 7 gods' mysterious skill now. Lu Ming's physical strength alone was enough to suppress a 4-star heavenly emperor. His combat strength had increased greatly. There was still some residual energy in his body. Lu Ming continued to operate the 7 gods' mysterious technique to refine all the remaining energy. The remaining energy was naturally not enough for Lu Ming's physical body to continue breaking through, but it could be consolidated. A few days later, Lu Ming refined all the energy and ended his cultivation. Lu Ming revealed a smile on his face. Lu Ming had already gained a lot from this trip to the Cursed Land. What could be better than a deeper mastery of the Tao of domination, a breakthrough in the physical body, and a great increase in strength? Bang! Lu Ming took a step forward and walked back. Very soon, Lu Ming was near the sword formation. There were only a few people on the other side of the sword formation. Lu Ming has come out. The few of them smiled when they saw Lu Ming. Bang! Lu Ming strode forward and charged into the sword array. When Lu Ming charged into the sword array, the array lit up again and tiny sword chi appeared, rushing toward Lu Ming. This tune, Lu Ming did not even use the way of the ruler. He relied on his physical body and the indestructible ancient scroll to block the sword chi attack. Lu Ming dashed out for 100 meters before he began to cast the way of the master. He controlled the sword chi and rushed out of the sword formation. "Everyone, where are the 6 saints?" Lu Ming asked. "They're waiting for you outside," one of them said. Lu Ming nodded and followed the few of them. On the way, Lu Ming learned that they did not have any other gains in this cursed land. It was obvious that this cursed land had already been plundered before the Myriad tribulation. After passing through the passage, they arrived at the huge stone chamber and saw Heavenly venerate 6 sages and the others. After casually chatting for a while, the group walked out. After a while, they left the cursed land and from afar, they saw Monarch Feng Ming waiting with a group of people. "Ha ha ha, Commander Lu, you're finally out." From afar, King Feng Ming came over to welcome him with a face full of smiles. "Your Majesty." Lu Ming cupped his fists. "Commander Lu, how was your trip to the cursed lands?" King Feng Ming asked with a smile. "Sigh, country ruler, to be honest, I'm returning empty-handed this time." Lu Ming sighed. "Return empty-handed?" King Feng Ming's expression changed slightly. "That's right. I'm afraid that someone has already entered this cursed land before the Myriad tribulation. If you don't believe me, my lord, Lu Ming can swear an oath." Lu Ming said. "Ha ha, what oath? Of course I believe in the commander. Let's go back and welcome you back. This Tao brother, please." King Feng Ming laughed and extended his hand to invite 6 sacred Heavenly venerate. Heavenly venerate 6 sages had not been on guard. Buzz. At this moment, King Feng Ming suddenly made his move. A combat sword appeared in his palm and he stabbed it towards 6 sages. At such a close distance, Heavenly venerate 6 sages was completely unprepared. He had never expected that King Feng Ming would suddenly attack him. It was already too late for him to dodge. Pfft! The long sword had pierced through 6 sacred Heavenly venerate's heart. Roar! Heavenly venerate 6 sages roared and struck out with both palms. King Feng Ming pulled out his sword and retreated. Heavenly venerate 6th saint fell to the ground and vomited blood. He had been severely injured. Lu Ming and the rest were shocked by the suddenness of the situation. They moved quickly and surrounded the 6th saint. "Why are you doing this?" Lu Ming looked at country ruler Feng Ming coldly. "To get rid of you, of course." The one who spoke was not country ruler Feng Ming, but someone else. Buzz. Whoosh. In the surroundings, figures flashed and appeared one after another. It's the evil god tribe. The other people in the heaven realm were in an uproar. It's indeed the evil god tribe. Lu Ming narrowed his eyes. When he saw the evil god race, he understood everything. The evil god tribe must have arrived after they entered, and King Fengming must have surrendered immediately. He must have pretended to be talking to Lu Ming and the others to launch a sneak attack. This was because, to Emperor Fengming's knowledge, the 6 sages were a threat. That was why he had launched a sneak attack and eliminated the 6 sages first. At the very least, he had to injure them severely. This way, Lu Ming and the others would be like turtles in a jar. Lu Ming, the divine ancestor has ordered us to kill you without mercy. You can go in peace. Ha ha ha, well be valued by the divine ancestor after killing you. Lu Ming, your death was worth it. The evil god tribe members laughed. You think you can kill me? Lu Ming said coldly. Oh? Do you want others to save you? I'm telling you, don't even think about it. Your useless subordinates are all here. One of them sneered, and with a wave of his hand, a few heads fell to the ground. Liao Min, Wu Fan, Lu Ming's eyes reddened at the sight of the heads, and an icy cold killing intent emanated from him. Liao Min, Wu Fan. They were all Lu Ming's guards. They had followed Lu Ming from the beginning and did not betray him. However, they were killed by the other party. He was furious. Today, all of you will die. Lu Ming's voice was extremely cold. Finally, he looked at King Fengming and said, your Fengming country will be destroyed. Chapter 2481. Killing King Fengming. As Lu Ming's cold gaze swept across him, country ruler Fengming could not help but shiver. Then, he took a deep breath and revealed a ferocious expression. I'll kill you now. Buzz. Country Master Fengming made his move. A bright sword light slashed toward Lu Ming. Monarch Fengming had a cultivation base at the 4th level void transformation stage. In the heaven realm, he was equivalent to a peerless expert at the 4-star heavenly emperor stage. His battle prowess was much stronger than a 3-star heavenly emperor. The sword gleam was extremely sharp, and it neared Lu Ming in an instant. Boom! Lu Ming immediately threw a punch at an astonishing speed, accurately hitting the blade of Fengming's sword. The combat sword in Fengming's hand trembled continuously, and his body shook violently as well. He was forced to retreat dozens of steps before he could stabilize himself. Your battle power, how did you? King Fengming was extremely shocked. In the previous move, he felt that Lu Ming's strength had completely surpassed his. How was this possible? A few months ago, he had seen Lu Ming and Rama fight. Back then, Lu Ming was stronger than Rama, but not by much. He was confident that he could take down or even kill Lu Ming. He did not expect that in just a few months, Lu Ming's ability had surpassed him. How was this possible? One must know that at their level of cultivation, it was extremely difficult to improve even a little bit. It would take a long time, so how could it be improved in a few months? The cursed land. He must have obtained a supreme opportunity in the cursed land. That's why his combat strength has increased so much. King Fengming thought to himself. Kill him. We must kill him and take his fortune. King Fengming roared in his heart. The original battle sword in his hand disappeared and was replaced by a black battle sword. Buzz! The battle sword shook, and the sword chi soared to the sky. This is a Heaven Dao soldier. Lu Ming's heart stirred. They weren't exactly Heaven Dao soldiers either, as their weapons didn't contain the power of the Heaven Dao. However, their grade was equivalent to that of a Heaven Dao soldier. As the ruler of a country and with a cultivation at the 4th level void transformation stage, it was normal for King Fengming to have a weapon that was equivalent to a Heaven Dao soldier. Buzz! King Fengming moved again and charged at Lu Ming. As for the other foreign races, they didn't make a move. With King Fengming leading the way, they were happy to sit back and enjoy the fruits of his labor. They blocked the way in all directions to prevent Lu Ming and the rest from escaping. The Great Desolation Spear appeared in Lu Ming's hands. His body emitted a purple-gold light and he swept the spear out. This time, Lu Ming used all his strength. The power of his physical body, the power of a ruler, and the power of the Great Desolation Spear. Boom! The two of them collided once again. Buzz! The battle sword in King Fengming's hand trembled madly as a terrifying power charged towards King Fengming. King Fengming immediately spat out a large mouthful of blood as his body was sent flying. His eyes were wide open in disbelief. He had already used all his strength, but he was still vulnerable in front of Lu Ming. Kill! Lu Ming's aura was like a rainbow. His muscles trembled and his body burst out, charging towards King Fengming at an extremely fast speed. The people inside Netherworld Mountain were stronger than those outside. The strength of country ruler Fengming was also slightly stronger than the ordinary 4-star Heavenly Emperor outside. On the other hand, Lu Ming had cultivated the 7 gods' mysterious technique to the middle of the 6th stage. He could suppress an ordinary 4-star Heavenly Emperor with his physical strength alone. Therefore, he was on par with King Fengming in terms of physical strength. King Fengming had a combat sword that was equivalent to a Heaven Dao soldier, while Lu Ming had the Great Desolation Spear. The two of them were equal. However, Lu Ming had the power of the Path of Domination. Once he erupted, he completely crushed King Fengming. Boom! The Great Desolation Spear trembled and became incomparably huge as it struck towards country ruler Fengming. Country ruler Fengming turned pale with fright as he raised his battle sword to block. The Great Desolation Spear struck the battle sword of country ruler Fengming heavily. The terrifying power caused country ruler Fengming's arm to explode. His combat sword flew out of his hand and flew out. Lu Ming used his ruler's power and put away his opponent's combat sword. As for country ruler Fengming's body, he was like a meteorite as he crashed into the ground. Boom! The earth trembled as King Fengming smashed a huge hole in the ground. He spat out blood continuously. Everyone around them was dumbfounded. The powerful country ruler Fengming could not even withstand a single blow from Lu Ming. Not good, let's join forces and kill him. One of the alien races roared. Attack! The other alien races also roared and charged at Lu Ming. There were a total of 3 4-star Heavenly Emperors. The others were 3-star Heavenly Emperors, 2-star Heavenly Emperors, and 1-star Heavenly Emperors. A total of 9 alien races charged toward Lu Ming. From all directions, a series of attacks were blasted toward Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming did not take it head-on. Instead, he turned into a stream of light and fell to the ground. His entire person was like a long spear, stabbing towards King Fengming. No, King Fengming roared. However, he was severely injured. Even if he wanted to dodge, he couldn't. Bang! Lu Ming's footsteps landed heavily on country ruler Fengming's body. His entire body exploded and turned into ashes under the terrifying and violent power. Only a storage ring flew out and was caught by Lu Ming. Bang! Following that, Lu Ming stomped heavily on the ground. The ground shook and a huge pit was blasted out. It was covered with cracks that looked like cobwebs. Lu Ming's body soared into the sky and he thrust the Great Desolation Spear. Whoosh! 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 Rays of spear radiance pierced through the heavens and earth, piercing towards the foreign kinds. The 1-star, 2-star, and even 3-star heavenly emperors couldn't resist at all. They were pierced through by the spear radiance and died in the air. Only the 3-4-star heavenly emperors could block it. However, their bodies shook violently and they were sent flying by Lu Ming. Individually, these 3-4-star heavenly emperors were not as strong as King Feng Ming. This is bad. Let's go. Well, ask a stronger person to kill Lu Ming. One of the foreign beings revealed a look of horror and turned to run. The other 2 foreign kinds ran even faster than him. Lu Ming's combat strength was not something they could match. If they did not run, they would die. The 3 of them ran in 3 different directions. Even if Lu Ming were to chase, he could only chase one person. You want to leave? Lu Ming said coldly. The purple gold light on his body became even more dazzling. My lord. Lu Ming murmured. The way of domination melded with heaven and earth. It instantly took effect on the 3 alien races, wanting to dominate them. The 3 demonic humans froze. This stiffness was enough. Whoosh! Lu Ming became one with the spear and turned into a purple-gold spear gleam. It pierced through the void and stabbed at one of the alien races. Pfft! The alien was killed by Lu Ming in the air. At this time, the other 2 demonic humans had already reacted and were extremely shocked. Just now, they had felt a powerful force acting on them from the dark, causing their bodies to freeze. Run, run, run! The 2 demonic humans were terrified and started to run away. Chapter 2482, Cultivation Base Breakthrough. It seems that my ruler's power can only affect a 4-star heavenly emperor expert for a moment. Lu Ming's heart stirred. He was only able to do this after he had comprehended the Nominator's will from the statue in the Cursed Land. Lu Ming's comprehension of the Nominators now had greatly improved. Otherwise, he would not have been able to do this. However, it was enough to affect a 4-star Great Emperor for a moment. For those below the 4-star Heavenly Emperor level, the impact would probably be even greater. For those with weaker cultivation, Lu Ming could dominate them and prevent them from attacking him even if he stood there without moving. Buzz! Lu Ming continued to control the way of domination and used it on the remaining 2 alien races. The bodies of the 2 demonic humans froze again. No, no, the 2 demonic humans roared in their hearts. Whoosh! A ray of spear light shot out, and a foreign being was killed. Next, there was only 1 alien left. He had already lost the thought of running away and attacked Lu Ming madly. The result was destined. He was killed in the air by Lu Ming after a few moves. Lu Ming put away all the storage bracelets and rings of the alien races. Around him, the subordinates of country ruler Feng Ming dispersed in an uproar. Heavenly Venerate 6 sages and the rest of the heavenly realm were all dumbfounded. Including monarch Feng Ming, there were a total of 4 4-star Great Emperors. All of them were killed by Lu Ming. Not a single one of them managed to escape. Lu Ming's methods were simply strange and unpredictable. Senior 6 Saints, how are your injuries? Lu Ming walked over and asked. Good, it's already stabilized. The Celestial said. Just now, he was heavily injured by country ruler Feng Ming. Fortunately, his head and dantian weren't attacked. Although his injuries were severe, they weren't life-threatening. With his peerless expert life force and astonishing recovery speed, he had already stabilized himself. Then, let's go, we're going to rob the Feng Ming Imperial Palace. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with a cold glint. Let's go. The others also revealed ferocious expressions. They immediately flew toward the palace. When they arrived at the Imperial Palace, it was already in complete chaos. The news of King Feng Ming's death had already spread. The experts in the palace were in complete chaos and began to snatch the treasures of the palace. In order to snatch treasures, they killed each other, and the imperial palace was in a state of slaughter. Kill. When Lu Ming and the rest arrived, they immediately charged in. They specifically chose Heavenly Emperor realm powerhouses to kill. In Fengming country, other than the 13 commanders, there were still some other Heavenly Emperor powerhouses. Lu Ming and the rest killed everyone they saw. Lu Ming had killed 2 Heavenly Emperor powerhouses in a row and snatched their storage rings. These Heavenly Emperors all had many divine stones on them. The amount of resources that Lu Ming would need for his cultivation in the future was too terrifying. One must know that his true cultivation base was only at the Great Emperor realm. The resources he used were comparable to other Heavenly Emperors. If he were to break through to the Heavenly Emperor realm, how much resources would he consume? Therefore, what he wanted to do most now was to stock up on resources. Run. Seeing Lu Ming and the rest charging towards them, the experts in the palace dispersed in an uproar. Lu Ming and the rest went deep into the palace and opened a treasure vault. Inside was the royal treasury, which was filled with a large amount of resources. There were all kinds of medicinal herbs, blacksmithing materials, combat weapons, and divine stones. Unfortunately, they didn't find any weapons that were equivalent to celestial sovereign weapons. The highest level was only a great sovereign weapon. There was also a large number of divine stones, which Lu Ming and the rest divided among themselves. Without a doubt, Lu Ming had the greatest credit. He took the majority of the credit and Lu Ming accepted it without any hesitation. After ransacking the palace, Lu Ming and the rest left the capital of Fengming and flew into the distance. They only found a hidden place to stop after flying for hundreds of thousands of miles. Heavenly Venerate Sixth Saint was recuperating while Lu Ming entered the mountain and river diagram to check on his gains. Lu Ming took out the storage rings and bracelets and counted them. Most of the alien race's storage rings contained crystals that were specially used by the alien races. They were not of much use to Lu Ming. However, there were some divine stones in the alien race's storage bracelets that Lu Ming had collected. The biggest gain was still country ruler Fengming. Not only did King Fengming contribute a combat sword that was equivalent to a Heaven Dao soldier, he also contributed a large number of divine stones. In the end, Lu Ming piled all the divine stones into a pile and counted them. There were about 30 million pieces. 30 million divine stones, each of which was equivalent to 10,000 supreme-grade raw stones. It was an amazing fortune. Now, I can break through my cultivation. Lu Ming smiled. His comprehension of the path of a ruler had already reached the standard. He could make a breakthrough in his cultivation now. Once he did, he would reach 4-star Great Emperor and his combat strength would increase exponentially. With a wave of his hand, Lu Ming took out a large number of divine stones and began to absorb the energy inside the divine stones to break through. This time, Lu Ming did not use chaos gems to break through. He planned to use divine stones. He only had about 10,000 chaos gems left. He planned to keep them for now. They might be useful in the future. Bang! 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 Piles and piles of divine stones exploded and turned into the unique divine chi of the Netherworld world, which was absorbed by Lu Ming. Lu Ming circulated the path of domination and refined it with all his might, transforming the energy into world energy. Lu Ming began to break through to 4-star Great Emperor. In the blink of an eye, 2 months had passed. The aura on Lu Ming's body had increased dramatically. His entire body was shrouded in a purple gold light, and he looked extremely noble. After 2 months of cultivation, Lu Ming finally broke through and his cultivation level reached 4-star Great Emperor. The area of the small world in his body expanded by a huge circle. The world energy was even more robust, and the ruler's energy mixed in with the world energy was also a bit thicker. Lu Ming's combat strength had increased tremendously. Now, He could suppress a 4-star celestial the Arch with just the Tao of Domination. With the combination of the Tao of Domination in his physical body, Lu Ming could even kill a 5-star celestial the Arch. The truly powerful one was still the Tao of Domination. One should know that Lu Ming's current cultivation was only at the 4 stars Great Emperor realm. He could cross a large realm to kill an enemy. His potential for improvement was huge. How powerful would he be when he entered the Heavenly Emperor realm in the future? Would he be able to compete with the martial god? Lu Ming was very much looking forward to this. After ending his cultivation, Lu Ming exited the mountain and river diagram. Lu Ming, you've made another breakthrough in your cultivation. Sensing Lu Ming's aura, Celestial Venerable 6 Sages was shocked. I broke through by luck. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Heavenly Venerate 6 Sages and the others gasped. A breakthrough by luck? They laughed bitterly. Why didn't the others get this lucky? They were already in awe of Lu Ming. At such a young age, Lu Ming could already kill a 4-star Heavenly Emperor in a row. Now that he had a breakthrough in his cultivation, how powerful would his combat strength be? One had to know that a 4-star Heavenly Emperor was already known as a Celestial Venerable in the Heaven realm. Lu Ming was now able to kill Celestial Venerables in succession. He was almost at the peak of this world. In a few more years, he would probably be unrivaled. They knew that they were witnessing the rapid rise of an invincible figure. Chapter 2483 Impersonating a Dragon Man. Lu Ming, what's your plan next? The Heavenly Venerate asked. Go to the Dragon Man Empire. Lu Ming said. Previously, when he had checked the ancient records, he had found out that there was a cursed land in the Dragon Man Empire that was much bigger than the cursed land in Fengming country. Go to the Dragon Man Empire? The faces of Heavenly Venerate 6 Sages and the others changed. Lu Ming, there's a 6-star Celestial the Arch from another race in the Dragon Man Empire. He's also trusted by the Dragon Man Empire. I reckon he's exploring that cursed land. 6 Sages said with a grave expression. A 6-star Heavenly Emperor was too powerful. One more step and he would be a peak Heavenly Emperor. I won't fight them head-on. I'll disguise myself and go over to check out the situation. If they've already plundered the cursed land, I'll leave immediately. If they haven't, we might be able to take advantage of the chaos and reap some benefits. Lu Ming said with a smile. In that case, we'll go with you. We don't know where to go anyway. The Celestial said. The others nodded in agreement. They really didn't know where to go now. Alright, why don't we do this? You guys enter my small world first. I'll go alone and change my appearance. It'll be easier for me to move around. Lu Ming said. Alright, let's do that. Heavenly Venerate 6 Sages and the rest nodded and entered Lu Ming's small world. After everyone had entered the small world, Lu Ming cast the Divine Breath technique and his body began to transform into a dark-skinned youth. He left the place and headed towards the Dragon People Empire. The Dragon Man Empire was separated from Fengming country by a small country. Lu Ming traveled at full speed and took 3 days to arrive at the Dragon Man Empire. The Dragon Man Empire was extremely vast, at least 10 times larger than Fengming country. There were many races in the Dragon Man Empire. There were humans, snake people, and so on. However, the most numerous race was the Dragon Man race. The dragon men had 2 dragon horns on their foreheads and a long dragon tail. Some of them even had dragon scales on their bodies. Other than that, they were no different from ordinary people. Lu Ming was walking in a city. He was secretly amazed at the dragon men. These dragon men were half human and half dragon, and they emitted a strong dragon chi. They were all burly and above 2 meters tall. There are so many races in Netherworld Mountain. Senior Ancestral Dragon said that Netherworld Mountain came from beyond the sky. What kind of place is beyond the sky? Myriad tribes contending for hegemony? Lu Ming's thoughts were flying and his imagination was running wild. He was very curious about that outer space. I have the blood essence of the 9 dragons, and I've cultivated the dragon god combat body. I've also refined some dragon marrow before, so I also have strong dragon chi in my body. Why don't I disguise myself as a dragon man? At the thought of this, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. If he could disguise himself as a dragon man, it would be easy for him to do things in the Dragon Man Empire. Immediately, Lu Ming's body changed rapidly again. 2 dragon horns grew out of his forehead, scales appeared on his body, and a long tail grew out of his buttocks. There was also a dense dragon chi emanating from his body, just like a dragon man. Ha ha ha. Lu Ming smiled and then swaggered on the street. On the street, the creatures of other races looked at Lu Ming in awe. In the Dragon Man Empire, although there were many races, they were also divided into ranks. There was no doubt that Dragonians were respected and enjoyed special privileges wherever they went. Let's go to the capital of the Dragon Man Empire. Lu Ming smiled and flew towards the capital of the Dragon Man Empire. After a few days, Lu Ming arrived at the capital of the Dragon Man Empire. Lu Ming started to wander around the capital of the Dragon Man Empire. An evil god tribe member. After walking for a while, Lu Ming's eyes suddenly lit up. He saw an evil god tribe member. This evil god looked very young, and he had definitely cultivated for less than 10,000 years. He should be a prodigy on the longevity roll, and he was only at the Emperor realm. Lu Ming revealed a smile and walked over. You outsider, how dare you molest the beauty of my clan? You're simply courting death. Lu Ming glared at the alien and strode toward him. What? The alien was stunned. Kneel down and surrender. Lu Ming grinned and gave him a slap. The other party was shocked and wanted to resist. However, he was too far away from Lu Ming. He was slapped in the face by Lu Ming and fainted. Many Dragonians around them looked at Lu Ming curiously. This fellow molested my dragon beauty. Shouldn't he be taught a lesson? Lu Ming said casually. Yes, they should be taught a lesson. These 3-eyed aliens have been very arrogant recently. They should be taught a lesson. Good lesson. You even dared to molest the beauty of my clan. You're simply despicable. Cripple him. The Dragonians shouted. Lu Ming smiled. He then grabbed the alien and strode away. After making a few rounds, he came to a remote place. There was no one around. Lu Ming stretched out his finger and touched the person's glabella. Lu Ming cast the soul-searching technique to search the person's soul and obtain information. The man's body trembled. Very soon, Lu Ming obtained some useful information. There was indeed a 6-star Heavenly Emperor realm expert from the foreign race who had obtained the attention of the Dragon Man Empire. They had cooperated with the Dragon Man Empire and entered the Cursed Land to search for treasures. They had split the treasures equally with the Dragon Man Empire. This time, the foreign races had gathered 50 to 60 experts in the Dragon Man Empire. There were quite a number of Heavenly Emperor realm experts. A few months ago, the foreign races had entered the Cursed Land, but they encountered difficulties. There were dangers and obstacles in the Cursed Land, so the non-humans were advancing very slowly. During this period of time, they had been thinking of ways to conquer the Cursed Land. In addition, the alien races had gained a lot of treasures in the areas that had been conquered. It hasn't been conquered yet. Good. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. The Cursed Land had not been completely broken through, and the place that had been broken through had many treasures. This meant that no one had explored this Cursed Land before. There would definitely be a lot of gains inside. Lu Ming decided that he must explore this Cursed Land. Bang! Lu Ming waved his hand and a burst of energy exploded, killing the alien. Then, he burned the man into ashes. Then, Lu Ming headed towards the Cursed Land. The Cursed Land was located in the mountains to the west of the Dragon People Empire's capital. Very soon, Lu Ming arrived at that place. There were many Dragonians guarding this mountain range. However, when they saw that Lu Ming was also a dragon man, they thought that he was one of their own and did not bother much. In any case, the locals of Netherworld Mountain couldn't enter the Cursed Land. Lu Ming easily crossed the mountain and arrived at his destination. Within the mountains, there was a castle. The castle covered an extremely large area. This was the Cursed Land. In the nearby area, many Dragonians were wandering around and waiting. Chapter 2484 Killing Non-Human Beings. Lu Ming swaggered over. The Dragonians did not pay much attention to him after they saw him. Lu Ming wandered around for a while and suddenly rushed toward the Cursed Land. "What are you doing? You're looking for death." On the side, the Dragonians roared. The people of the Yellow Springs world had been cursed for generations. They could not enter the Cursed Lands. Once they entered, they would die. In their opinion, Lu Ming was courting death. However, Lu Ming's speed did not slow down at all. He ran wildly and approached the castle in the blink of an eye. "He's fine, he's fine." The dragon men looked at each other. According to their experience, as long as they were within a certain range of the Cursed Land, they would be cursed and die on the spot. However, Lu Ming had already run to the castle and he was fine. "It's fake. Damn it. He must be fake. He's pretending to be a dragon man. Detestable." On second thought, the Dragonians knew that Lu Ming was an impostor. Only outsiders could enter the Cursed Land. However, they could only watch helplessly and did not dare to pursue. The castle was huge, and the gate was open. Lu Ming rushed in directly. Behind the door was a dark passage. Lu Ming reduced his speed and advanced carefully. This Cursed Land was dangerous. However, there was no danger in this passage. When Lu Ming was about to reach the end, nothing happened. However, at the exit of the passage, there were two foreign races guarding it. They were stunned when they saw Lu Ming. That was because Lu Ming was still in his dragonman form. Could a dragonman enter this place? That was why they didn't know how to react. Buzz! Lu Ming took the opportunity to charge forward. His palm was like a knife, cutting horizontally. Bang! Bang! With two loud bangs, the two alien races were killed by Lu Ming. He charged past them. Behind the passage was a huge platform, and in front of the platform were two wide roads. The two paths led in different directions. The road on the right was pitch black and covered in a bloody mist. It was a terrifying sight. As for the road on the left, it was also covered in white fog, blocking one's vision and making it impossible for one to see what was ahead. On the platform, there were more than a dozen foreign kinds either standing or sitting. On the road to the left, there were also a few foreign kinds standing there. Only the right path didn't have any foreign races. As soon as Lu Ming entered, more than 10 alien races looked at him in unison. Dragon Man? No, it's definitely not a dragon man. Someone is pretending. Who cares who he is? He doesn't have the aura of my race, so he must be from the heaven realm. Kill him. A cold aura bloomed as a cold voice sounded. Buzz. One of the four-armed alien was the first to charge at Lu Ming at an extremely fast speed. This alien had the cultivation base of a 3-star heavenly emperor, which was very powerful. However, his opponent was Lu Ming. A purple gold light emanated from Lu Ming's body. His power of domination condensed into a long spear and he thrust it forward. It looked like Lu Ming was stabbing at the void, but as he did so, a scream was heard. The four-armed alien appeared out of thin air, his head pierced by Lu Ming. A 3-star heavenly emperor was killed instantly. Not good, this person is very strong. Let's attack together. Kill. Other than a few who were not even heavenly emperors, the rest of the alien races were all heavenly emperors. A few of them were extremely terrifying. 2 4-star heavenly emperors and 1 5-star heavenly emperor. Lu Ming no longer hid his abilities and attacked with all his might. The Great Desolation Spear appeared in his hands. Lu Ming was bathed in the purple-gold light. The long spear vibrated and he stabbed a few times in succession. The 2 4-star heavenly emperors were sent flying by Lu Ming and they spat out mouthfuls of blood. The 5-star heavenly emperor's body trembled violently and he retreated. Lu Ming was unleashing his full power now. He was so powerful that even a 5-star heavenly emperor was not his match. Not good, this person is difficult to deal with, quickly call him sir. The 5-star heavenly emperor roared. Call me Lord. A few of the demonic humans, who were guarding the intersection on the left, rushed into the road. Kill. Lu Ming wielded his long spear, his killing intent as sharp as a knife, and charged towards the foreign kinds. With a sweep of the long spear, a few of the foreign races were sent flying with broken bones and tendons, dying on the spot. Damn it! The 5-star heavenly emperor roared angrily. A yellow stone flew out of his third eye. It exuded a powerful aura and was thrown at Lu Ming. This is Heaven Dao soldiers? No, there's no aura of the heavenly Dao. It's a weapon of this world. Lu Ming's heart stirred. The misty yellow stone that the other party had taken out was a weapon equivalent to a heavenly Dao soldier. It was a weapon from Netherworld Mountain, and there were many wondrous formations engraved on it. As long as one injected energy into it, it would be activated. Boom! Lu Ming shook his long spear and swept it out, colliding with the stone. The rock was sent flying. The non-human 5-star heavenly emperor was also forced to retreat by Lu Ming's powerful energy. Lu Ming strode forward, his long spear stabbing out continuously. Pft! Pft! One by one, the alien races died under Lu Ming's spear. With Lu Ming's current combat strength, anyone below the level of a 4-star heavenly emperor would not be able to withstand a single blow from him. In the blink of an eye, there were only 5 or 6 of the foreign kinds left. The rest of the non-humans were terrified. They didn't dare to continue fighting and turned to run. You're looking for death. At this moment, an angry roar came from the left road. A burly figure rushed out from the road, stirring up white mist like a hurricane. He had yet to come out but his violent aura was already pressing toward Lu Ming. 6-star heavenly emperor? Lu Ming muttered fearlessly. He strode forward and the terrifying purple-gold spear's gleam charged towards a 4-star celestial, the arch of the foreign tribe. The foreign being tried his best to block the attack, but he spat out a mouthful of blood. One of his arms exploded, and he was severely injured. My lord, save me! The alien shouted. You dare? The voice roared in the road. Kill! Lu Ming was very decisive. He attacked again. The spear's gleam pierced through the air and directly pierced through the injured 4-star heavenly emperor, killing him in the air. Buzz! At this moment, a pale white saber light slashed out from the intersection. It was shockingly powerful and the terrifying force was headed straight for Lu Ming's face. Lu Ming's arm shook and the Great Desolation Spear changed its direction rapidly, blocking in front of him. Clang! There was a violent tremor and Lu Ming felt a violent force charging at him. He could not help but retreat. Then, a burly alien with a saber in his hand walked out of the intersection. This foreign being's 3 eyes glowed with a cold light, and his body exuded a powerful aura. A 6-star heavenly emperor. Then, with a flash, 5 or 6 figures rushed out from the road on the left, each of them an expert. 4 5-star heavenly emperors. Lu Ming could tell the other party's cultivation level. 1 6-star heavenly emperor and 4 5-star heavenly emperors. You're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.